A very good evening, everybody. Nice to have your company wherever you're tuning in, all around Australia, all around the world. SimShed Broadcasting's coverage of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, Season 3 of the iRacing year in 2020. And tonight, the Monday night doubleheader, for the first time in 3 weeks, heads back to Europe and to a circuit that we've not visited yet so far in 2020. And there's a lot of people very excited about how the next 2.5 hours might play out. Hi everyone, Zach Coben and Nico Pop with you. Paul Nichols will be here soon as well. Great to have you company wherever you're tuning in across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube for Monday Night Motorsport and the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Nick, good evening to you. This is a great little circuit, the Circuit Park Zandvoort. We're on the club circuit for Intro to Wings, so that's nice and short and sharp, 2.57k. And then we flick it over to the Grand Prix circuit, the 2019 configuration, before, of course, they made some changes for what should have been the return of the Dutch Grand Prix for Formula One this year. Of course, coronavirus put pay to that. Great circuit, however, narrow, and therefore overtaking opportunities are somewhat limited.
100%. This shorter circuit does a U-turn right here, joins one of the front stretches back to the back stretch, and then quickly wraps up the lap. And just under, they were doing 58 seconds. It was pretty close at the top two for the top 5 there. So, yes, this predates the updates they did for the Formula One to come to Holland this year, but still a bloody good circuit.
Absolutely. First time since 1985 when Formula One gets back to the Netherlands. I'm looking forward to it immensely. Hopefully life gets back to some form of normality after February next year. Of course, you would have all seen the news this morning saying that the Bathurst 12 Hour is not going ahead in 2021, so we're waiting a little bit longer than we'd like for life to get back to normal. Anyway, you join us at the start of qualifying here, folks. These are the first flying laps that you're about to see. And, of course, there's a field of about 20 in the server for this race tonight. So it's a good field of open wheelers in the Pro Mazdas. The track info for you, and then we'll get to the championship points in just a moment. 7 turns, 2.57k. In the Pro Mazdas, the setups are, of course, identical to baseline. The weather, it's clear. Uh-oh. I've got a spinner on my screen and Julia Mucky, so he's gone around for a little bit of a loop-de-loop. So that'll be his first flying lap burnt, which isn't ideal.
Colourful
Let's
car.
replay here. Just caught too much curb, I think.
Oi.
And then some grass as well.
You don't want to do that.
No, not at all. Hey,
you run onto the next lap too.
Exactly right. Incident count 78x, and then every 10x after that. We have seen a few people just, flirt with the boundaries of those penalty points in the last couple of weeks. The weather set to May 15. Back we go, back into the past again. Although you know what that's like in Queensland because you've already gone back to 1908. So we're back at May 15. We're back at 2:48 in the afternoon in Holland. And the skies, as we say, clear, 24 degrees. The on-track temperature is scintillating, scorching 44. The wind's northerlies at 3 kilometres an hour. The race tonight, 20 minutes. The pace car speed, 64 kilometres an hour. The pit lane speed, 60 kilometres an hour. Nick, what are the keys to this short circuit?
One, as always, stay out of trouble. Down here, you need a good run to the back, that last corner, the last 2 corners, because this is the best passing spot here. This is Tarzan, turn 1, down to second gear in most cars, and you can take multiple lines through there. If you have a look on YouTube and look at James Hunt versus, I believe, Gilles Villeneuve through there, yes, side by side. But also consistency. There's a lot of grasscrete around here, which is that sunken hatching concrete. So you can use a little bit more of the road than what you think in a lot of key places, a lot of the tighter corners. So one is make sure you defend yourself down here into turn 1 into Tarzan. Number 2, stay out of trouble. Number 3 is use as much of the track as you possibly can because it's a fast lap, only 58 seconds around, and we've got Rayhana currently on pole on a 58.6.
He was the dominant force last week, of course, holding off Michael Hammond in an absolute beauty. Troy Cox was in there as well, if memory serves. Now, the championship points at the end of that 4th round. This week marks halfway. Good idea if I turn... Yeah, I was going to say, good idea if I turn my Facebook on the laptop onto mute while we do this. Purely just following along for the the social interaction side of things. Intro to Wings, the fourth round of the championship wrapped up last week. We mark halfway this week. Michael Hammond on top, 115 points. Warwick Sharp, 77. Adam Coghlan, 69. 63 for Julian Mucky and 60 for Jackson Rayhana. He's had a second and a first in the last 2 weeks. With the drop point system, he comes right back into play. He just needs to keep an eye on Michael Hammond here because he's on a charge. What I was going to say too, he needs to keep the consistent results coming to Rayhana because he obviously dropped those first 2 rounds. So it'll be interesting to see how he bounces back and how it all factors in to the scheme of things at the end of this championship.
Just final turn, Mikey Hammond. He's on a hot one.
Watching Mikey Hammond now onto the main straight. Can he go to the top of the timesheets here? 58.9's his best so far. 58.6 the time to beat. Hammond? 58.3. Hammond goes to pole. What about that?
Good work.
Very nice lap from Mikey. Keep our eyes peeled on the other cars coming around now, but if you're in the 58s here, you're looking good. And there are 5 drivers in the 58s at the moment, including Glenn Setter, Riddell, John Merritt and Jamie Welch, and then a swag of drivers in the 59s. Now, just quickly going back through the top 10 here, Justin Schweikort is 6th on 58 points, 56 each for Pete Matson and Sean Rees, 55 for Joe Baldwin, despite missing rounds 1 and 3, and also Ash Phillip is 10th on 54 points. So that bottom half of the 10 really tightly bunched at the moment. Nick from 5th in Jackson Rayhana, all the way back to Ash Phillip in 10th, just 6 points.
It's only going to get tighter too when we start adding in drop rounds from I think round 7
Yep.
on. So the point score will get tighter, but also
We've just lost Nick there. He's just dropped down into race control, so we'll get back to Nick very shortly. I don't know what happened there. I'll proceed here. Nick, we've got you back. What happened there?
someone didn't ask me something and they decided to ask me right then and there. But anyway, I apologise.
That's all right.
Yes, what was I talking about?
You were talking about drop rounds, therefore the championship will become a hell of a lot tighter.
Yeah, so currently, considering Jackson's was the first 2, he's already got his updated to the current drop rounds as it is. So once we start adding them in, it'll start making a clearer picture and Jackson might jump up a bit. Looks like everybody's qualified now.
Which means we've got about 3 minutes worth of field time here before we actually get a race underway.
Agreed.
It is a 20-minute race, and we should point that out. I hope our good mate Paul Nichols is dropping down to have a chat to us for this race. He's sitting there in the green room at the moment, but he can drop himself into the comm box, so that's okay. You saw the track information there on your screen as Josh Thomas continues to circulate, so to a couple of other cars here. I can tell you at the moment there are 24 drivers in the server and 20 have recorded times. Trucker Joe Baldwin has not recorded a time as yet. And that might be another case of not being able to get home from work in time because of the time zone differences now being 3 hours, not 2. And that's the problem at this time of the year, because we are a state that is, well, like we are a country that's too divided when it comes to the issue of daylight saving, rather than just all picking and sticking or just, not observing it at all. We have 5 in column A and 3 in column B, and it's the 3 that get left behind. But he's out there. That's good. There he is, on track. Joe Baldwin, fantastic. He actually got home in time. But I can guarantee you in the next couple of weeks, Nick, there'll be another instance where he doesn't, and because he already had 2 drop rounds, it'll just get worse.
Well, I hope not, for his sake. But we've got 2 last cars on the track here, Joe Baldwin and Chris McHale. So they've just both started their laps. I just saw pop up on my screen, Joe just went off track, so he's going to have this lap scrapped. So he's only going to get 1 more crack at it. Chris McHale, he's gone green. Coming through the final couple corners here, you need a really good run. You can pass into this corner.
Green to the third split too.
You can also get a good run. You need a good run out of here to get flat through this next corner to get a run to slingshot onto the straight.
Round they come. The last laps of this qualifying session. He's got the Joe Baldwin's got half a minute to complete his lap here, and Chris McHale has slotted into 21st with a 102.034.
Joe here's coming back. He's on the second half of the circuit now.
Running out of time.
But he hasn't gone off track. Oh, he's got a bit wide
got
there.
off track
But he kept it on track, so he hasn't got a 1 times next to his name, so this lap will count. He's got to get it in here, get the nose in. Cross the grass creek.
Oh,
No, he didn't get his lap in. Unfortunate.
very unfortunate for Joe Baldwin. So he'll be burning from the stern from pit lane.
All right, look at the grid.
All right. Here's a look at Circuit Park Zandvoort for you, folks. What a beautiful setting it is there in the Netherlands, not far from the seaside. Let's have a look at the grid. Michael Hammond and Jackson Rayhana. Those two set to duke it out again. They're 1 and 2 on the grid. Glenn Riddell, John Merritt, then Jamie Welch and Jack Allisey, Warwick Sharp and Brad Clank, the 4th row, Declan Reinhardt and Brett Selbywood, the 5th row. And then, of course, Brad Stoyescu and Justin Schwercourt, the 6th row there. We go over the page, or not. Yes, there we go. 13th is Chris Stark, 14th Jared Daly, 15th is Sean Rees, 16th Josh Millard, Scott Rankin and Josh Thomas from the 9th row, and Julian Muckey, they're all on his own on the 10th row, but we are expecting, obviously, Joe Baldwin and a couple of others to drop in there once they start from the pit lane.
Look at that grid. Huge.
Good turnout just for a 20-minute race. We've got as many entries as we do minutes of racing here. The GT3 series coming up at 25 past 8 for you Eastern Daylight Time. But in the meantime, our focus is this. Round 5. Intro to wings, and all eyes will be on these two on the front. Michael Hammond and Jackson Rayhana. They put on a sensational show last week. We expect more of the same here tonight. But there's so many critical points on this circuit. Not to mention, of course, that hairpin section at the end of the back straight, and also the hairpin in the first sector as well. They're the two critical points. But you've got to keep it clean around here. If this is a precursor as to how good Formula One will be when it gets back to this venue, I'm looking forward to it immensely. Hopefully next May. And let's not forget, of course, another big round of the Formula One World Championship this weekend. A new circuit for the series with the Portimao circuit in Portugal. Set for a start here. Monday Night Motorsport, the doubleheader, intro to wings round 5 from the Netherlands. Let's go! Off the line nicely. Hammond jumped well. Rayhana went nowhere. Coming down on Higgins inside. I tell you what, Rayhana got absolutely swamped. Jack Allisey, a brilliant start. Glenn Riddell, Jamie Welch also a good start. Hammond's wide through 1, but that's going to be okay for him as he comes through 2, 3 and 4. Everybody through safely on lap 1, which is not exactly what I thought I'd be saying at this point in time, but Hammond leads them from Allisey. Glenn Riddell and Jackson Rayhana. Here in Warwick Sharp's in trouble at the back of the field. Stone Cold Racing replay for you. Scott Rankin, Warwick Sharp. There's Scott Rankin collecting the curb. Yep, that's fine. Checked up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Still green at the moment.
It's one of those things on the first lap, you've got to be ready to slow down and not go flat out like you did in qualifying or practice. So a bit silly there. But anyway, here we go. Glenn Riddell. Jack Allisey right
Jack Allisey.
Into Tarzan.
Already defending, but Allisey wants to force Riddell to go around the outside, and Riddell says, thank you very much, I'll do that, no problem, because that'll put me on the inside for 2, and therefore I've got you. Very nicely done. Brad Clank putting the pressure on Jamie Welch at the moment. Jackson Rayhana's got back up to 4th.
Inside. Oh, it's going to be a drag race up the hill.
I'll tell you something I noticed there too, Nick. On the first run down the main straight, Hammond was already keen to play defensive. He was hugging the inside line, that pit wall line, right from the get-go. That's defensive driving if ever I've seen it on lap 1.
100%. You got to try and break the toe, get a bit of a lead on these guys. What's he got right now? He's got 1.2 seconds in front of Sido Riddell.
That'll be enough. He'll be fine.
So you can see here, yeah, there you go. Justin driving over the grass creek there. You got to try and open out the radiuses of these corners and take less track. I've deliberately put a fair bit of wing on these things, so these cars were producing a lot of drag and setting up passing opportunities down here into turn 1 Tarzan corner.
Through they go. safely through. It's interesting to point out too. I'm a huge fan of this circuit, and I know Nick is as well. It's such a unique track, and it's going to throw up some great racing in the GT race a little bit later on, which will extend our round onto the full circuit, and there'll be some high-speed action there. Already intro to wings here. The difference between this circuit and the Interlagos circuit, A, it's the short circuit, it's the club circuit. We didn't have that option last week, and therefore, B, there's only one real good slipstreaming opportunity, and it's that run, as Nick said, all the way down to Tarzan, out of the last corner down to turn 1.
Here we go. Chris Stark's having a look. So he needs to be right in behind him on his gearbox. Now he's going to lose the run here.
Looks to set it up regardless.
I think he's going to be
Too far back. Wants to dive anyway. And thinks better of it.
Because there's lots of wing, it means that there's a bit shorter braking zone. So you've got to be right on their tails coming through the last 2 turns. How good is this part of the circuit?
Absolutely fantastic, but it's so easy to slip up here. And we've already seen that tonight.
Rayhan is struggling.
He certainly is. I'm not sure what's wrong with Jackson tonight, but he's just not handling this track. Hopefully that's not an omen of things to come in the GT car.
We've got Hammer Time leading from Sido Riddell and Alice are the top 3. Rayhana here dropped 2 spots at the start by doing a big burnout instead of taking off. Oh
no, it's gone round. John Merritt's gone round. Into the wall. That's a biggie.
I talk about opening the radiuses of the corners, but that's a little bit too much.
In the meantime, actually that explains why Jackson's not going so well. We'll have a look at the damage on his front wing.
Whoa!
And he went round as well. Rayhana went as well. Wow. So, Michael Hammertime Hammond leads Glenn Riddell and Jack Allisey at the moment. That's worth noting. Jack Allisey's moved up ahead of Jackson Rayhana as they make their way around one more time.
There's Jack Allisey right there.
Yeah, and as I say, Rayhana in behind him, so it wasn't Rayhana, but someone with a similar paint job that went round there.
Josh Millard has
Josh Millard was the one that went round. Okay. That makes a little bit more sense. Just what I noticed was a lot of damage on the front wing with the left-hand side pointing upwards instead of downwards, and that wouldn't have been helping that car. So I'm somewhat glad to see that it wasn't Rayhana.
Hammer time with the fastest lap, the 58.3.
And a very nice one at that. Very handsome time around him.
1.5 second lead over Sido Riddell. Then it's another, what do we got, 1.1 seconds to Jack Ellison, and then another 1.9 seconds back to Rayhana. To round out the 5, another 2.8 seconds to Greg Clink. Josh Thomas's profile picture, fantastic.
Yes. Oh dear.
He's sitting there in 9th. He's right on the tail of Chris Stark.
They do get a little bit creative with this stuff, don't they?
Well, it's a good outlet. It's a good outlet. I'd rather be doing this than other stuff.
True. Lap 7 of the race. Michael Hammertime Hammond is leading.
Goes
and
with his
doing
car.
so by 1.5 seconds. Yes, actually, you're right. It does go with his car. Have a look at it. That's fantastic. Great livery there on Josh Thomas's outfit tonight. Brad Strayescu, we're hearing's had a biggie. So here's the Stone Cold Racing replay.
Back in 16th now.
And
already got bent wings.
This is going to be ugly. Yeah, too much curb and out. So he's not crashed, he's just had a spin, but it's going to cost him a little bit of time there. And he was actually not too bad in qualifying. He was 11th, I think it was, from memory. So round over the main straight.
He tried to spin turn the car, but unfortunately these cars have an open diff, so you just do one wheel peels or one tyre fire, so you can't actually spin turn them too well. Here you go, Josh Thomas is back on the tail of Chris Stark again.
And this time he's got a good run too. Let's see if he can capitalise on it.
Have a go.
Run to turn 1, go for it. Why not? Thomas Donnelly inside of Stark. Stark forces the issue around the outside and holds it. Thomas fights back on the inside on the run to 2 and 3. Have a look at this. Side by side they go, and Stark eventually yields. There was no reason to. He could have held the inside, forced the issue, but Stark has let him go.
Into the Hugenholtz corners. Fantastic bit of track there. Now we're joining on the what's called the Vodafone backstretch. Back into the Audi S. Turns 12, 13, up to turn 14, called the Kumho Bocht. Everything's Bocht. Oh,
no, Chris Stark.
He's round.
Locked it up and gone round. You can hear the tyres squealing and screeching and begging for mercy. Have a look at this, folks.
I think too much attitude on the car.
Chasing Josh Thomas and bang. Just have a look at the smoke. Oh dear.
Here we go here. Justin.
So Justin Schwercourt.
Always quietly achieves. Starts towards the middle to the back, and then things like that. He just makes his way up, doesn't make any mistakes. Just keeps going up there. What was he in the championship? He was in the top 5, I think, or something, wasn't he?
Let me just have a double check here. Sixth at the moment. Yep.
There you go. You don't have to be the fastest. Oh, Mikey Hammond defending now.
And defending hard. Here comes Glenn Cedar Riddell. Doesn't get a chance to have a look down on the inside. Lap 10, folks. So we're circling around fairly quickly at the moment. 58.9, 58.3, the best time so far from... so Hammer was 0.6 of a second slower last time around than what his best lap of the race was. Cedar was only 0.5 of a second slower.
Yeah.
And Jack Alesi was a whole second slower than his best, which is a 58.36.
That gap was blowing out, and then all of a sudden it's now back down to 0.35 of a second. So
it's the big battle here.
Cedar Riddell's kept their consistency up.
Hammer's going to have to work for this one. Riddell trying to go with him, already a few cars a lap down, as you can see there on your screen on the totem pole. Just, I'm going to have a quick look through as we watch Riddell come down on the outside. He's going to have to go the outside if he wants to get by Mikey Hammond, and Hammond's forcing the issue there. And around the outside comes Riddell! What a move! Side by side, a little bit of defensive driving there and aggressive driving from Hammond. There they come together! And Riddell compromises his run. Alesi around, he's outside, he goes to second. And now all of a sudden, Hammond's got a completely new fight on his hands. What about that?
I think the squeeze on the exit, Riddell wasn't too happy about, and then he gave him a shove, and in that shove, he gave Mikey Hammond a little bit of a bent wing there. And now Riddell's, Jack Alesi's now cashed in. Look at that.
Oh, no, look at the rear wing. She's shot. And there's no pit stops in these races.
So Mikey's speed
so he's going to be playing with that for the rest of the race.
His speed will be down on the straights, but he should... Oh, here we go, Jack Alesi.
Alesi might have a look here.
If he's smart, he can still defend and still do some quick lap times.
Absolutely. Alesi wanted to go the outside. Hammond defends that for the moment. Great start to intro to wings. We're halfway through. And Michael Hammond's got a real fight on his hands now. Just let's have a look to lap times last time round. Hammer 59.0, Jack 58.6, Cedar Riddell 59.0. Make that a minute 0.3 last time round for Hammer. My screen's just updated. And a minute 1.3 for Riddell. Alesi at 59.5. So this race is all of a sudden back on in a big way. Brad Clank there. All over the back of Jackson Rayhana now. Stick around, folks. GT3 series still to come after this one.
Oh, who's this? Cedar Riddell up the inside.
Very nicely done. So Cedar Riddell back to second, and Alesi just had no choice but to yield.
So the Pulse Racing car back into second place. Let's see what happens now this time through. I've got a feeling Mikey is now, he is hamstrung now. He's going to cop his top speed as down the straight is going to be compromised, and turn one's going to be, oh wow. Round the outside.
Oh, Rayhana and Clank side by side. Oh, more trouble and clanks into the wall. There we go. Don't know if you can say anyone was at fault there. That just looked like a simple racing incident to me. And I don't say that because I like Jackson or I like Brad or whatever the case may be. I think if you just have a look at the contact here, there was nothing in this. If anything, Clank's come across on Rayhana. Rayhana's maintained his line there. Anyway, retirement so far, Brad Stroyescu and Joe Baldwin. Also John Merritt. Wayne Visit did not even start the race.
Sitting duck. Outside.
Hey, Riddell wants to have a look around the outside again. That's gonna be his power play here. Hammond's not going to make it easy for him. And it's going to be defensive driving from Hammond throughout the rest of the circuit and the rest of the lap as well, Nick.
I was going to say, if you or Mike, I know it's a fast circuit, wouldn't you want to try and back him up into Alice? So Alice has a go at him as well, but then on the flip side, you then a sitting duck at the end of the front stretch.
Correct. You'll have two coming for you instead of one.
Oh, Riddell's going to get a good run this time. This is how you do it. You get right up against them, especially through this turn. Make sure you don't lose your sight of your apex. Sacrifice a little bit because you know you got top speed, and then just flat out through here. Watch this car get bigger and bigger.
Onto the main straight. Look at this. Riddell all over the back of Hammer Time, and Hammer Time, there's nothing you can do about that. Riddell up the outside. Hammer laid under brakes, comes through. Oh, what about that? Riddell's going to get through, I think. Hammer wants to force the issue. They're still side by side. Oh, what about that?
Again.
And Riddell is going to get it away this time, and there was just simply nothing that Michael Hammond could do about it.
They touched like 3-4 times through that sequence.
They certainly did. They were banging wheels all right. Glenn said Riddell has the lead. There's nothing Hammer can do about it. That wing is just compromising him for the rest of the race, and it's another 5.5 minutes to go. Congratulations to everyone involved here, because that was a sensational stoush. Don't forget, of course, we've got the GT3 race coming up for you very shortly. Big thanks to all the great people that support the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. LJ Hooker Gaindar, Central Coast Subaru, Racecraft, Flash Graphics, Oculair, and also Simple Sim Computers. Here on SimShed Broadcasting, as Alice is all over the back of Michael Hammond on Hammond now, and Hammond goes deep into turn one to force off the attack from Alice. But Glenn said Riddell looks like he's going to become about the fourth different winner of this series.
Yeah, he just needs to close it out now. What have we got? Just on 5 minutes. Who's this?
Well,
Josh
Michael
Thomas
Hammond
again in the Eagle car.
Michael Hammond, Jackson Rayhana, Joe Baldwin, and that's it. So it would be Glenn said Riddell. Something's happened to Glenn said Riddell. We're just hearing. He was leading this race.
Don't tell me he's tossed it off the road. He's tossed it off the road.
No. On the exit of the hairpin. Bang, gone. Oh, his hopes and dreams dashed. Just when we were talking about a fourth different winner of the season, Michael Hammond holds sway again.
He's in fourth.
And now Jack Alice's all over the back of him as well as they come down to turn one as we rejoin live play here. Alice to the lead. Hammond under brakes takes it back. Alice right around the outside and then yields. Oh boy. So, yeah, okay, they don't have to worry about Riddell anymore, but they do have to worry about each other, Alice and Hammond here. This is going to be fantastic. This is going to be a cracking contest. Riddell slipped back to fourth, Rayhana up to third in all of that. Geez, he'll be happy.
Yeah, I just don't know. Jackson's last lap and his best laps are good, so there's obviously something's happened in between to put him back, and now Riddell's 1 second behind Jackson. That these two are still going out hammer and tongs, and now traffic's going to play a key here. Alice a bit tighter there on the second last corner, which means he gets a good run through this last corner. Have a look at turn one when we get there.
On the run down the main straight. Yep. And that was bound to happen because Hammer's been running the defensive line all race, but again, deeper under brakes and able to hold it. Michael Hammond is driving brilliantly in a defensive fashion that only he has been able to showcase throughout the course of this season. No one does defensive driving better than Hammond, and we're seeing why he's such a great exponent of it right here, right now, because it's not compromising his lap speed. They've got lap traffic to navigate now, though, right now, and Alesi has about 3 more opportunities to have a crack at Hammond here.
Yeah, three or 4 more laps, depending on when they cross the line.
Yeah, it'll be 3. They won't get 4 out of this. It's only 2 minutes 20 seconds. Mate, it is fantastic. Intro to Wings has been a great addition to the broadcast here in Season 3. Looking forward to more of the same again next year as they come onto the main straight again. Hammond goes defensive. Alesi needed to get the run, does so. When does he pull out? He went too early, I think. Because once again, Hammond goes bang, down the inside, pounces. And Alesi, even though he has had his nose in front on 4 or 5 occasions here, Michael Hammond just continues to show him who's boss.
Well, I mean, Alesi might be practicing for the start-finish line. If he can get in front of him before the line, it doesn't matter if he passes him or not, as long as he's across the line first. Keep the pressure on through the lap, and then just get a good run and pull out before the line. But I think the line's too close to the last turn for that.
I think you're right. So here they come again. 2 laps to go. They'll get this one and 1 more.
Oh, he's even got a better run this lap. He has to go to the outside now. He's going to run into him.
Exactly right. Now he's going to have to fight back on the inside and get that toe further down the main straight. Watch Alesi on the outside here. You'll get a glimpse of him in a moment from our onboard shot here with Michael Hammond. There he is, nose in front. Hammond dives underneath. Holds the line again. This is right up on the ripple strip. Hammond almost lost it completely there. Almost threw it away. But he holds on with the 1.5 car length lead over Alesi here. A lap and a half to go at Circuit Park Zandvoort. Monday Night Motorsport, Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Get out of your seats, Australia, if you're enjoying this one. These guys are turning it on for you, and this is just the entree. We got the GT3 Series still to come as the main course tonight. Out of the second last sequence of corners for the penultimate time into these last 2 corners here, which is now, of course, a big banked sweeper to bring them around onto the main straight. Michael Hammond's going to lead this one to the white flag, but will he lead it at the checkered flag? We remain to see. We wait to see. Alesi pulls out, drags alongside. Hammond still leads it. Hammond still leads it at the post. Alesi down the inside. Oh, Hammond got him back. Very nicely done.
You have to try something different. You got to. Michael's very much aware of what you're doing there. If you were Jack Alesi, you just got to try something different.
Yeah, you're not going to outsmart him.
Or maybe just get a really good run onto the front stretch, but I think the line's just a little bit too close there. Notable mentions, Pete Matson up 13, Josh Thomas up 12. Very
nicely done from Pete Matson. He sits 10th, and Josh Thomas sitting down there in 6th position at the moment. Have a look at this, though. All eyes on Brett Selby-Wood and also Sean Rees at the moment. That's the battle for 3rd and 4th, I think, is it? No, sorry, my apologies, 8th and 9th. 8th and 9th. Pete Matson involved in that as well. There was an accident there. We'll come back to it. Onto the main straight. Hammond's got the job done. Brilliantly done. Michael Hammond, a beautiful drive. A great performance, a great win. 21 laps in the book. Michael Hammond wins on a Monday night in Intro to Wings. And I apologise here. I read my 9 as a 3 and I confused everybody there, I'm sure. But have a look at this. This is Sean Rees, Pete Matson, and Brett Selby-Wood.
Okay, yep.
Oh, Pete Matson, I think, straight into the side of Sean Rees. Yep, that'll do it. Well, Michael Hammond just gave Jack Alesi a masterclass in defensive driving, and he's celebrating accordingly. Michael Hammond, the winner on a Monday night. Jack Alesi, 2nd. Jackson Rayhana, the 3rd. Gonzalo Riddell, 4th. Declan Reinhardt, Josh Thomas. Then Chris Stark, Brett Selby-Wood, Josh Millard, and Brad Clank. Chris McCall, Justin Schwercourt, and Sean Rees. Then Pete Matson and Warwick Sharp, the 15. In all, Michael Hammond grabs another win, and we shouldn't be surprised by that, Nick. But by gee, he had to work for it.
Had to work for it, but man, that was a great race. Hopefully the GTs are just as exciting. Mind you, it is a tight track, so these teeny little cars, you can run 2-3 wide, whereas we'll see how the GTs go. It's like driving a tractor.
Exactly. There's the final results, folks. Michael Hammer time Hammond by 0.16 of a second. Then Jackson Rayhana, Glenn Setter, Adele, Declan Reinhardt, Josh Thomas, Chris Stark, Brett Selby Wood, Josh Miller and Brad Clank made up the top 10 outside Chris McCall, Justin Schwerkort, Pete Matson, Sean Rees and Warwick Sharp, Scott Rankin, Jamie Welch, Julian Muckey, Jared Daly, and Nigel Patton. And then the long list of retirements, Brad Stoyescu, Trucker Joe Baldwin, John Merritt, and Wayne Visser. That was fun. We've got plenty more where that came from for you very shortly here in the Gentleman Sim Racing Club with the GT3 Series. Yeah, exactly right, Nick. Just the warm-up, just the entree. The main course still to come on a Monday night where we have plenty to look forward to with our GT racing here. Here's some highlights. And right from the start, it was Michael Hammond. Jackson Rayhana, by gee, he went nowhere off that start line. He got swamped. On the outside, it was Glenn Cedar Adele. On the inside, the car that started in fifth place, I should say, gobbled him up. I think that was Jamie Welch, and Michael Hammond almost didn't get through the first corner. He had a little bit of a bobble at the wheel there, but in the end, he walked away with it. It wasn't a comfortable win. He had to work for it every step of the way, but by gee, he turned it on for us tonight, as he so usually does. Let's get into the post-race show here. We got no one jumping into the chat room just yet, so that means we'll just get final thoughts from Nick and a driver of the night as far as Intro to Wings is concerned, and then we'll reset and get into the GT3 server, mate.
Well, Pete Matson lost a couple spots in that last lap. I was going to give it to him.
Because of the contact, I think.
Yeah. Joshua Thomas, up 12 spots, up to 6. So he started 18th, so good on him. And also Justin as well. He started and finished in the same spot, but he was making his way up until obviously he's had some form of contact. Notable mentions, Chris Stark.
Correct.
He did a 5-second pit stop, 5.5 second pit stop. It was one of the only cars to do so, but he got back up to 7th. So, look, the whole field put on a great show, but yeah, I'm going to have to give my drive of this particular one to Josh Thomas.
Jeez. There was an incident there. I think that was Pete Matson that we didn't see.
Let's have a look
during the race.
Can we do a replay within a replay? A bit like
for you folks.
Rewinding. A replay within a replay.
Going back in time. No, it wasn't Pete Matson. Okay, it was certainly a car that looked like Pete's.
It could be Julian. Julian has another car that's.
Julian Muckey. Yeah.
2 cars that use every color on the color chart.
That's it.
It is Julian. Yeah. Wow.
Oh, wow. That explains why he didn't last long.
Roller skates don't bounce.
That was a massive shunt for Julian Muckey. He finished a lap down in 18th.
Blue green. Oh, he's ridden up somebody's tyre. There it goes.
Brad Stoyescu.
And then blue green.
Yeah. Oh.
Here we go. Hold on to your dinner, guys.
Oh. Jeez. Look at that. Magnificent.
Unlucky.
And well picked up from JP there in the post-race show as well. All right. Well done. Chris Stark, you mentioned 13th to 7th. Brett Selby Wood, 10th to 8th. Josh Millard, 16th to 9th. Justin Schwerkort, as you say, 12th and 12th. Chris McCall, 21st to 11th. Some good movers there through the field. Unfortunately, it just wasn't going to be a great night for Joe Baldwin. For John Merritt, he was 4th, back to 23rd. That's who I wanted to mention there earlier. He was one that got caught up in trouble there early on. And also, Brad Stoyescu, 11th, back down to 21st. We're going to take a break on that, folks. Stick around. We've got the GT3 series still to come. We hope you enjoyed all the action. Intro to Wings, Monday Night Motorsport for the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. We're here with thanks to the great people at Central Coast Subaru, LJ Hooker Gaindar, Racecraft, Flash Graphics, Oculair, and Simple Sim Computers. You're watching it on SimShed Broadcasting across Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube, and we've got plenty more where that came from for you in just a moment when we turn our attention to round 5 of the GT3 series in Season 3 of the 2020 iRacing year, and it's all coming at you live virtually from the Circuit Park Zandvoort in the Netherlands. Back with more in just a moment. Good to have you with us wherever you're tuning in. Of course, the Monday night Gentleman Sim Racing Club doubleheader for SimShed Broadcasting here across Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Circuit Park Zandvoort playing host to this round of the GT3 series. It is round 5 at this point in time. We are 45 minutes away from the halfway mark of the championship, although theoretically in terms of round numbers, that's correct. In terms of racing time, not quite, because the last race is 75 minutes longer than the other 9, so the maths are a little bit out there. But halfway point of the championship at the end of this round, and Dennis Gaderick is the man in complete control at the moment, leading this championship, and doing so by, well, 46 points, if you don't mind. 134 for Gaderick, Paul Mansell on 88, 82 for John Merritt, 70 for Emmerich Candolo, and 67 for Guy Leach, the top 5. Audi, Ford, and BMW all represented in the top 5. The Ferrari, Glenn Postlethwaite, is 6th on 66 points. 63 for Luke Turner, 58 for Trent Lavis, Maverick Benson on 55, and Yanni Sorterio on 51 points, rounding up the top 10 after this round, after the latest round, the 4th round of the championship, which of course took us to South America. We're back in Europe where we started the season. We've got a couple of rounds coming up in Europe, of course. We've got Alton Park, and then Monza, and we're looking forward to that. There's a big hit. And after Monza, we go to Donington Park, then to Sonoma, then to Bathurst. So, really, Nick, we've got a nice long European sweep for the next 4 weeks, and it starts here on a pretty unique circuit, of course, the Circuit Park Zandvoort. The track and race conditions for you folks as we close in on the latter stages of qualifying here. 41 minutes into a 50-minute session. 4.30 kilometres the circuit distance here. 13 turns. We have a 45% fuel tank capacity on these cars tonight. That's the fuel limit, so there probably will be a splash and dash at some point. The weather, partly cloudy, 21 degrees. Track temp, 23 degrees, so that's nice for this time of the day. 4 o'clock in the afternoon sim time there, 19th of October 2020. So again, we're going into the future a little bit because what is it, Zandvoort time at the moment? It's usually about 9 hours behind us at the moment, so we're not quite there yet, obviously. It's about 11 o'clock in the morning in Zandvoort at this point. The pace car speed 64 k's an hour, pit lane speed 60 kilometres an hour. The winds to the south at 17 k's an hour, and the incident counts will be 15x for the first penalty, and then every 5x after that. Fast repair limit of just the 1, and given what we've seen already tonight, they might need it. Let's have a look at this circuit, Nick. We might try and grab an onboard shot if we can, get on the right on the bonnet of someone's car and go for a lap at this wonderful Netherlands circuit, of course. It's either this or the TT circuit at Assen. Let's take an onboard shot here with the man in 3rd place at the moment, which of course is Luke Turner, who was formidable last week against Dennis Gaderick. Really took the fight to Gaderick and came away with a very good win in the end, and a deserving one. Let's ride on board with him as we get ready for race 5 of the championship.
Alright, so we're just coming down to a really tricky part of the circuit. You're always turning and braking and accelerating. You're never actually straight. So I'm just going through Renault here, turn 10, up to Vodafone here is turn 11. These are 2 very mirrored hairpins. Down the back stretch, work your way through the gears, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Then you're going to brake real hard for the Audi S. This is a really good passing point. However, if you're on the inside, you can be on the outside for this next part down here. But if you stick with it, you can be on the inside again for what they call the Comho Bocht. Down here, turn 14, leading onto the back onto the final turn, sorry. The Ari Lorendijk corner, which is now banked, just like Indianapolis. And then a down the front stretch to complete the lap, but we'll have to keep going because we can start here. Down into Tarzan, which is the best passing spot on the track. Turn 1 here, brake at the 100 metre board, work your way back through the gears, back to 2nd. Multiple lines, you can go high, you can go low, stay on the outside of someone and get a drive off the corner. Up to the Gerald Bocht corner, and then into the Hugenholtz corner here. You can actually get a good pass if you set them up into here as well. Then you're rising out of here, turn 4, up the hill, work your way back through the gears. I'm not even going to bother pronouncing some of these names. A Rod Stolmarker corner, and then up to, I don't even know what that's called. Turn 7 here, turn 8, These are all fast corners. You're in the top end of the gearbox, 4th gear through here, turn 8. Make your way to turn 9, which is a Marlboro corner, but it's a fast turn, but a very quick apex. So there it is there. You don't want to take too much of the curve because it'll flick you off, and I dare say you'll get a mark against your name for cutting the track. And here we are back in Renault, and then back into Vodafone, these two mirrored hairpins. You've got to get a good run. I always hate these two turns. You've got to get a good run out of Vodafone to get a good slingshot down the straight to get, set someone up for turn 12 down here into the RDS. There's your lap.
And of course, indeed it is. My apologies. It, of course, was Liam Reston that got the win last week, not Luke Turner. I was getting my series confused. Luke has been a strong performer in a couple of the series so far this season, and he's sitting 3rd on the grid at the moment. I'm just having a look actually through the server to see if last week's winner is joining us, but I haven't got him on the list here, so could be advantage Dennis Gaderick on that note. 45 minutes into this qualifying session, 5 minutes to come, and then we get stuck into the 45-minute race here, folks. Looking forward to this immensely. And here at the moment, we're watching Maverick Benson in the 9th position, heading around onto the main straight again. Geez, it's hard to know who's going to be the best performer here tonight. If I'm perfectly honest with you, Nick, Dennis Gaderick is always on song, but judging by what we're seeing from BMWs, 3, 4 and 5 on the grid at the moment, Luke Turner, Chris Whittaker right up there, it could be BMW's time to shine at long last in this championship because it's been all Ferrari so far, and Audi as well.
It's hard to look past Gaderick. He's got a 0.4 of a second lead in qualifying, and he's parked the car so far. Everybody else is on track pretty much, but Gaderick's just sitting pretty. So, I mean, these guys have their work cut out to beat him.
Indeed they do. Don't forget, folks, full post-race show still to come. We'll catch up with a few of the drivers. We'll have a chat, but they've got 45 minutes of hard work ahead of them first. 8:23 Eastern Daylight Time. Hope you're enjoying it wherever you're tuning in tonight. Let us know, actually, via Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, if you are tuning in. Always great to have you on board. And we mentioned Jackson Rayhana struggling in the Pro Mazdas there. Nick, at the moment, he's only clocked 28th fastest time in the GT cars. So it's going to be interesting to see if this turn ends up being a bogey track for Jackson, or whether he can find the secret in the next short while and make his way through the pack over 45 minutes. 2.5 to go. Guy Leach is on a PB at the moment, so keep an eye out on that too, folks, because he's sitting in 8th at the moment. It's Gaderick, Sorterio, Turner, Whittaker, and Whittaker, the top 5.
Yes, Sorterio's parked the car as well.
Onto the main straight there. That'll unsettle, I think it might have been Guy Leach. So no change for him at the moment.
How long have we got left of qualifying here?
1 minute and 50, Dick.
Oh, beautiful. All right. It's going to be, I reckon, the front row. They've just decided to park it for the time being, so it leaves all the guys behind them to really work hard. It's going to be hard to pick somebody, but mind you, look, Brendan Whittaker and Chris Whittaker have made an appearance. They are sitting 4th and 5th currently. Wonder if they got any fancy liveries for you again this week, but we'll see.
Oh, look, to be perfectly honest, nothing would surprise me with Chris Whittaker. He'll probably be finding some way to stitch me up. Or somebody else.
There's my teammate going through the 2 worst corners on the track.
The
Marlboro
2
Vodafone, and then he's decided to park it because it's that bad.
Yeah. Yep.
I love this circuit, but those 2 corners absolutely give me the poos because
It is. Yep.
you try and set the car up with a little bit of oversteer, but you need the understeer to keep it calm. So unfortunately, if you set up with too much understeer, those two particular corners, the turns 10, 11, Renault and Vodafone, they promote a lot of understeer, and yeah, you need oversteer to get through them, or you need a little bit taily. But then again, if it's too taily, coming up the curvy back straight from turn 4 all the way up to turn 8, through here, you could die. So
Yes.
it's very much a track of compromises. I mean, I don't think this track's ever the same for any 2 years in a row, because it is built on sand dunes near the beach. So it's one of those ones that this track actually has a life and a personality. So, and I said this off air before, but they have to deal with on the real circuit with sand blowing in from the beach. I don't think iRacing's that advanced to do that yet, but you just never know. If someone puts a wheel off, everybody's going to have to deal with that sand as well.
Indeed they are, and looking forward to seeing how they deal with it when and if the time arises. Looking forward to this race tonight. Big race coming up, 45 minutes in length. Should be an absolute cracker. Paul Nichols is in the commentary box for the first time this evening. Hello, Nico.
Hello, I'm just going to give you the times in the Pro-Am split. So really, really close top 10 within a second. So 136.0, 136.1, 136.1, myself 136.3, all the way down to P10, which is a 136.9. So
very nice and tight, yeah. Well, 134.9 is the benchmark here, and then it's 35.4, 35.5, 35.6, 35.6, 35.7, 35.7, 35.8, 8, and that gets you back to the top 10. So only 0.4 of a second separating second to 10th here, but Gaderick way out in front as per usual. So we wait to see what might unfold here. Of course, there are 31 starters in this race tonight. And of course, Nico, you're looking to go back-to-back. The pressure's on.
The pressure's on, but I don't think I'll go back-to-back. I'm just going to try and get through the whole race and try and be incident-free and have a good race, be top 10. That's the idea. I'll catch you after the race, guys.
Come and check back in with us very soon, mate. Good luck.
Do.
Go well. All right, 45 minutes of racing set to ignite here on a Monday night. The GT3 series at Zandvoort. We've been looking forward to this stop almost as much as we were looking forward to Interlagos last week. Alton Park still to come, Monza, Donington Park, then the Infineon Raceway, as it used to be known, Sonoma, California, of course. And then, of course, all roads lead to somewhere west of the Blue Mountains in New South Wales. So that'll be good fun. You're just a little bit this side of it, yeah. So that'll be good fun, and we look forward to that 2-hour race as we always do at the end, at the climax of the season. Dennis Gaderick from pole position tonight. Yanni Sorteria will be alongside him. Impressive from Luke Turner and Chris Whittaker to be on the second row there, although Whittaker was good in qualifying last week as well. 45 minutes will be the journey here. Race server tells us that it's 4:20 local time there in Holland. As I say, a few hours into the future.
Here's
the grid. Dennis Gaderick and Yanni Sorteria, the front row. Luke Turner, Chris Whittaker, the second row. It's going to be full lap warm-up too. Jamie Welch, John Merritt, third row. Brendan Whittaker and Benjamin Miller, the fourth row. Then Paul Rogers and Guy Leach with Maverick Benson and Paul Mansell from row number 6. Richard Hunter and Michael Angus from row 7, Cal Crowther and Justin Schwerkott from row 8, Richard Mitchum and Daniel Birchnell from row 9, Peter Hunter and Lee Sittles from row 10, then Dan Siciliano and Jaden Schmidt from row 11, Paul Wooden, Shane Austin from Stone Cold Matt Austin, that should be, from row 12. Row 13 is Pariana Starkis and Michael Martin. Row 14 is Jackson Rayhana and Johannes Koch. Row 15 is Adam Lavis and Andrew Goldman. Warwick Sharp starts from the rear of the field. So that's the grid for round 5. Huge thanks to all the great people that make Monday Night Motorsport possible. In fact, Monday, Wednesday and Friday Night Motorsport possible for the Gentleman Sim Racing Club here. The great people at Central Coast Subaru, LJ Hooker Gain, Racecraft, Flash Graphics, Oculair, Simple Sim Computers, and we can't forget to thank Stone Cold Racing as well with the replays coming out of there. And the field moves off on the formation lap now.
31 cars, it's a big field.
It's a huge field.
for a tiny track.
It's a magnificent field for a tiny track, but we're looking forward to what might unfold here. Big race ahead. Championship defining round. I said last week, if anyone can't go with Dennis Gaderick, that's it, championship over. The bloke that went with Dennis Gaderick, not in championship contention. So it remains the same. Pretty much this is Gaderick's to lose. And I'm sure that isn't likely to happen anytime soon. He's been very modest about it all, his success, though, this season, Nick. Yes, he's happy with it, but he's not getting complacent. He's not getting ahead of himself. He's not getting a big head about it. He's just taking it one race at a time, and that's probably a good approach.
Yeah, fantastic approach. I mean, it's not over till it's over. There are drop rounds. Who knows? He might have a terrible round at some point. Nothing is ever written in stone until you get to the end. So until the large lady sings, anything can happen.
Yes, just waiting for the chant to come up at probably round 9, the way Gaderick's going at the moment. I've just got this feeling that with the new point system and everything available to us, even double points isn't going to make round 10 a contest. It's going to be a dead rubber, the way Gaderick's racking up the numbers here. But we'll wait and see. I'd like to be proven wrong.
And maybe escort him off the road if you really want me to. But then we
No.
then we just
that'd just be encouraging bad behaviour and going against everything the club stands for.
And then it's like it's scripted, so we don't want that. We want an unscripted, live, exactly. And what do you say? Live and dangerous.
Live and dangerous, and it's good to have you with us at just on 8:30 on a Monday night. Let's go. 45 minutes of racing, then the post-race show with you till 10 o'clock. They're making their way around now on the formation lap here. Everybody pumped up for a big one. What can Luke Turner do from third? Can he convert it into a result for a change? Can Chris Whitaker get up there and show us why he's in love with GT sim racing? Good to have Brendan Whitaker in the split. Jamie Welch is there as well. In fact, Jamie Welch, John Merritt pipped Brendan Whitaker in the closing stage of the qualifying, so they got up to 5th and 6th, and Whitaker will start 7th. Then, of course, you've got to worry about Paul Rogers and Guy Leach down there 9th and 10th. Brilliant in the opening couple of weeks of the series, but they're not doing much down there at the moment. Maverick Benson, Paul Mansell's another one. Richard Hunter, Michael Angus, Cal Crowther. That's the top 15 on this grid. Can someone from beyond there spring a surprise? No Trent Lavis in the field tonight. That's worth pointing out. Adam Lavis is there, though. He starts 29th. Can Ray Harner come through from 27th? And what about Anastakis from 25th? Way ready to go. Monday night motorsport, round 5 of the Season 3 GT Series for the 2020 iRacing year. And we are set to go in the Gentleman Sim Racing Club Incorporated. Round they come onto the main straight. Gaderick brings the field to green at a moderate tempo. Pace car yet to pull off the circuit. Once it does, the field is in the control of Dennis Gaderick. When he puts the foot down, we will go racing here from Circuit Park, Zandvoort. Pace car off. Gaderick's in control. Let's wait for the start, and here we go! Immediately across, Yanni Sorteria chopping off Luke Turner to block the line on the run to 1, but Turner into the inside to force the issue. Whitaker's been hung out to dry on the outside there and nearly squeezed by John Merritt and Jamie Welch. In fact, they did get through. So Whitaker's been muscled out early, and look at Merritt trying to force the issue there on the run up to turn 4. That's a great start from Dennis Gaderick. Jump beautifully, convert nicely off the line.
Still too wide.
And still too wide further back in the pack. Chris Whitaker trying to sort it out with Jamie Welch and fight for his own piece of real estate. Nearly a touch there, nearly a collision between the pair. Round for the first time. First minute down. A lot of racing still to come here. Monday night motorsport for the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Yanni Sorteria, let's ride on board with him now. Unable to go with Gaderick off the start, but moved up nicely, got past, held off, I should say, muscled out Luke Turner. There was a little bit of a argy-bargy unfolding there. Turner wanted the position, Yanni wouldn't let him have it. Back to Jamie Welch now. All over the back of Luke Turner. That's going to be a trouble point of the circuit tonight, but we got through lap 1, which is more than we can say for last week. Got through lap 1 without any major incidents, Nick, and therefore we're set up for a good race and maybe safety car free.
Not yet. There's a car not moving further back there. I can't pick up who it is. There's one car not moving there just on the entry to the RDS. I think he's moving again. Car 26, Justin, looks like. Here we go, moved.
Down the inside, that's Guy Leach. Getting the job done on Benny Miller.
He's got his teammates in tow too. Hopefully have a better race this week.
Well, this is right. They didn't have a great run last week. 42.52 left on the clock. Oh.
Outside move.
I'll tell you what, the big loser out of all that at the start, Chris Whitaker. He's dropped right down. He's in the lane. So too Brendan Whitaker. So too Justin Schwercourt. All in the lane on lap 1.
Not where
Stone Cold, Matty Austin's in there. Michael Martin, Warwick Sharp, Daniel Birchall. Now, well, what's interesting here, Nick, not sure of the fuel burn numbers, not sure of all that sort of caper, but do these guys know something that we don't? Do they come in now, top up and get home with a good, with maybe a potential bit of fuel saving along the way? That could be interesting to see how that balances out.
I hope for them that they do know something, because it's always poo to see cars in the pit lane on lap 1 for incident damage and all sorts of things like that. So there you go, Michael Angus. That's a nice paint job.
We'll get a look at incident points for you a little bit later on in the race, folks. Now it's too early to be analysing that stuff. Ben Miller round onto the main straight, doing a nice job there in position number 8.
Likes his purple and maroon.
Hey, nothing wrong with maroon, and purple, I guess, complements it well.
Oh!
Oh no, trouble!
Doesn't go well when it's on the grass.
I'm surprised it's still going straight.
He's right up behind Adam Davis. And it's very easy to do.
In the order.
Your car washes out through here, and obviously he's just kept the boot into it. He's nearly hit Adam too. And then you'll see Jack Rahana coming up now. I don't think.
Interesting to know. That's 16th, 17th, and 18th. So they've all made progress on lap 1 and lap 2, thanks mainly to the amount of cars that have visited pit lane. And on that note, let me have a look. Jaden Schmidt out of the race, disconnected. So that's our first confirmed retirement. Everyone else still trying to go here. Monday Night Motorsport for the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. There's Luke Turner. There's our only McLaren in the field, Michael Martin. Nice looking McLaren as well, let's be honest. But just not a fast one at this point in time.
If you go from the back view, you'll see all the flames and more. There you go.
There it is.
Batmobile. Anytime you come off the throttle, it's a Batmobile.
Running the Pertec livery tonight. Not with the colours you normally associate with Pertec, but that's okay. Yeah. 39 and 55. JP just whispering in my ear. Beautiful car if you can drive it, but a handful at the same time. So Michael Martin's got his work cut out for him tonight. Michael Angus is who we were watching. Now we've got Jamie Welch under all sorts of pressure from John Merritt as they make their way out of turn 4.
Fantastic part of the circuit here. Flat out through all these little sweepers and turns and blowing crests. Then into this corner, which as you can see, the gravel trap actually goes uphill. It's banked. Into this quick apex here. And then the two corners that I don't particularly like, because you're braking and turning and trying to slow it down and try not to use your tyres. They kill tyres as well. Just natural atmosphere for these two turns. Absolutely.
On the subject of gravel traps, it's been received really well apparently from Formula 1 drivers at least. Paul Rogers is slipping down the order at the moment. We'll have a look at what's happened to him. But Nick, there's a lot of positive feedback from the fact that the Spa-Francorchamps circuit's going to re-add some gravel traps there. What are your thoughts on that?
Good, about time. Uh-oh.
Oh, that's it.
That's Brendan Whitaker.
Brendan Whitaker's been, he turned around on his own. Paul Rogers went straight into him. Paul Rogers got collected by another car, but everyone's been able to resume.
And the 3 teammates nearly all ran into the same accident then. Forgotten the team name, the Guy Leach, Paul Mansell, Maverick Benson team. Could have easily taken all 3 of them out again.
Exactly. Poor old Lee Siddles had nowhere to go there.
Luke Turner putting the pressure on, far out. Yanni's going to have eyes on the back of his head here.
Indeed he is. And here comes Luke Turner. Flying the flag for BMW and doing so nicely.
I think Dennis is just playing with these guys, to be quite honest.
3.5 second lead at the front. Fastest lap of the race, 1:35.5. It's daylight between him and the rest at the moment. Unless you're in Queensland, of course, it's moonlight.
He's just very smooth on his inputs. He's very firm, but he doesn't upset the car, and he just keeps it going forward. Never slides the car. Very, very clinically driven, so to speak. He's like a scalpel. Uses all the road and just drives it really well.
Let's have a look at as we ride on board with Dennis Gaderick now into turns 11, 12, and then on the run up to 13.
Alright, we'll pick it up through here, through the Ari Londike corner flat out.
That's it.
4th gear, make your way up to 5th. Have a look all the way down to turn 1, make sure you sight your braking marker here. I think he's going to hit about 250. 6th gear, brake, oh wow, brake at the 80, back down to 2nd gear. A lot of downforce on these cars, there's not much straight on this track. 3rd gear, 4th gear, all the way up, dab of the brakes, then down into this bowl, the Hugenholtz corner, back to 2nd, and then you're all flat out and uphill through here. So work your way up through the gears, apex on your right, apex on your left, apex back on your right, over the crest of the hill coming up. Fantastic bit of road here, like a roller coaster. Then you got this apex, which is very hard to sight. It's actually further around the corner than you think. There it is there. 4th gear, back up to 4th, back down to, sorry, up to 5th, back down to 4th. Quick apex there, and then down to 2nd for these 2 tight corners. What do I call them? The Renault corners and the Vodafone corners. And he's still pulling away, by the way. But you need a good one out of this one to get a good run down this stretch, especially if you're setting somebody up for a move. Work your way up through the gears, back up to 5th. Brake again at the, wow, at the 70 or so. Through the Audi S. Plenty of curb there on the right, plenty of curb on the left. Get another good run out of there. Use all the road and some. Up to the final braking marker, final braking point of the circuit. It's just a dab of the brakes, turn her in 3rd gear, and then it's just flat out to the end, across the line for another lap. And you can see from about 7th back, those guys are absolutely nose to tail on the map there. Who are they? It's actually 10th back. Michael Angus and those guys. So yeah.
1:35.54 is the fastest lap of the race for Dennis Gaderick. No one's come close to being in the 35s apart from Gaderick, which is a sad reflection of how this race is faring at this point in time. But have a look at this battle pack here. Richard Mitchum, he's under pressure. He's got Peter Hunter, Paul Rogers, Andrew Goldman and Lee Siddles all in the same battle pack at the moment. Good contest, good fight. 34 minutes left in the race right now.
Fantastic camera angles, by the way. Look at this one. That's probably the best one on the circuit. Through that fast section, you miss the apex, you're pretty much going straight for the camera.
Exactly.
I love these static cameras. You can just get to see the action and where people turn in earlier or later than others. See them carrying more speed or less speed than others. Look at this conga line back here. Who's leading that? Michael Angus.
Yep, Michael Angus is in 10th at the moment.
Hunter, Peter Hunter, Richard Hunter. I don't know if they're related. Paul Rogers, Lee Siddles. Oh no, Lee's a bit further back now. Paul Rogers there. There's those 3 team cars, by the way, the Guy Leach, Maverick Benson, Paul Mansell cars.
Yes.
They just got to get away from each other because if there's another accident, all 3 of them are going to get taken out. So 2 Ford GTs and a Ferrari.
Whew. Interesting opening stanza to this race. Dennis Gaderick has completed 7 laps. Yanni Sorteria is second. Luke Turner, Jamie Welch, John Merritt. Then you go back to Ben Miller, Paul Mansell, Guy Leach, Maverick Benson, Michael Angus, the top 10. First, second, third continue to run where they started. So Paul Rogers getting through there. Excuse me, on the inside of Richard Hunter. Richard Hunter down into 14th place now.
Not usually we see Richard Hunter back there, but he mustn't. There's a lot of people that are struggling with the track. He's one of them, by the looks of things. Jackson Rayhana is another one.
Exactly, and Rayhana's only sitting down there in 23rd at the moment. He's in pit lane, so it's not been a good night at the office so far for Rayhana. However, he could be at a critical number. He could be at a point where he can fuel up to get home, so we wait and see if that's actually the case. One thing I noticed from that onboard lap, Nick, when you were mentioning how close to the corner or the apex of the corner or the turning point of the corner that all these drivers were braking, people probably don't appreciate just how good the brakes are on a GT car and how light these cars can be compared to, you know, say a supercar where there's a lot more brake time required.
Yeah, well, these things have more tyre, a little bit less weight, and they got more wings on them, more aerodynamic. So, as Parry's made an aerodynamic change to his car, he's gotten rid of his bonnet. There's my teammate, Paul Wood, having fun in the 20s. He's made up a position, though. He's got a bit of damage, too.
He won't be alone. He'll be in good company with damage tonight.
He's loving the candy apple red, so if you see a candy apple red in one of my team cars, it's generally him, because I just run the plain colours.
That's right.
Here we go. Look at this.
Richard Mitchum in the fight of his life at the moment. Michael Angus, Peter Hunter, Paul Rogers, Richard Hunter, all behind him.
JP, can we go to the gearbox view here? Just watch these guys all behind him. Just check out, especially through this section of the circuit where you're just going left and right and over crests, and here we go. You can see cars peeking out and having a look, and he's definitely the cork in the bottle here.
Oh yeah. And if he gets muscled out, hung out to dry, you just get the feeling that it's going to be more than one place that he'll lose along the way here. And very quickly. We've seen it so many times in the past. 30 minutes to go, ladies and gentlemen. We're at the 1/3 mark of this race.
And that's it. For every left turn, there's a right turn at this circuit. I don't think there's any 2 consecutive.
Oh, off in the background!
Whoa!
Massive shunt for Peter Hunter! Wow! Let's have a look at this again. Did he get too much curb or did he get too much grass?
Grass.
Combination. He got the dirt next to the ripple strip that's connected to the grass, and bang!
Velocity on that.
He's yes, very nice. Very nice.
I learned some stuff from Mike Raymond.
Didn't we all? Can you believe it's been 11 months since that great man departed and said his goodbye? 30 minutes to go, as I say, folks. 1/3 race distance.
Ben Miller has got Paul Mansell slowly closing in. Paul Mansell's made up 5 positions. Ooh.
And you might have also noticed, folks, we've got our countdown clock in play now. So well played, JP and everyone there behind the scenes. In the recent weeks, we've been calling for a countdown clock. Unfortunately, we've been only able to count up. So this time round, at least you now know at home that yes, it's a 45-minute race, and you're joining us in the 2nd third thereof. Here's Ben Miller. Ben Miller all over the back of John Merritt. This is the battle for 5th and 6th. Jamie Welch is a little bit further up the road there, you can see. And Dennis Gaderick is leading this race by, oh boy, nearly 6 seconds if you don't mind. Over Yanni Sorteria, Luke Turner is 3rd. Here's Paul Rogers, we're riding with him now, 12th place. Michael Angus, the next target.
Still action of plenty. Look at the gap Dennis has got even on the map. He's going to Tarzan while the guys are still crossing the start-finish line.
Yeah, exactly.
That's 5.45 seconds. I mean, unless he's got qualifying fuel, and I don't think there's too much hope for anybody else.
No, this is right. Just having a quick look here. 5.5 seconds at the line last time by. Gaderick over Yanni. And it's... I'd love to be able to tell you in a moment, folks, but I'm just having some troubles with the iRacing split here. Telling me that I think it's lap 11 that we're circulating at the moment. And that's been confirmed in my earpiece. So lap 11, there it is on your screen now. So lap 11 for Gaderick. So we're on track for, I'd say 30 laps. 31 might be a bit of a stretch. Here's Dennis Gaderick coming down into the hairpin at the end of the back straight. Clinical performance so far from Gaderick.
I just clicked onto... wow, it's going off. I clicked onto the Facebook page here and was looking at some incidents that have happened, but one of the things that we always drill into people is hold the brakes, and we can see Warwick Sharp here has left. He was one of the first cars, and in turn 2, someone decided to back across the track while he was coming, so that was the end of his night there. Bit unfortunate.
Very unfortunate. You'd have.
Well, this is unfortunate.
Oh no! Paul Rogers!
Better get out of the way because there's going to be some cars coming quick and fast.
Let's have a look at this, Nick. Too much curb on the exit? Yeah. And some gravel.
They both did, but yeah, that's unlucky.
26 minutes and 37 seconds left in the race. Gaderick on lap 12. And leading it into cancer at the moment.
Well, maybe they are related, or at least they have the same car.
Well, this is right.
Oh, my apologies, sorry. Richard Hunter, I'm looking at Peter Hunter on the timing sheets. Where's Richard Hunter? Oh, he's down there. So this might be Johannes in front of him? Yeah, it is. Simple paint job. Get it done. At least you know their teammates.
Exactly. That's right. And sometimes it just has to be simple, Nick. Some guys don't have the time that others do to place so much time into the creative side of this business.
And then putting the pressure on Andrew Goldwyn here, who has made up 15 spots. He's the highest climber so far. Johannes right behind him has made 12.
Yeah, Johannes Koch has raced really well tonight. Chris Stark. Sorry, no, I'm looking at the results from the other race for whatever reason. Dennis Gaderick, Yanni Sorteria, I've done it again, Luke Turner and JB Rogers, then John Merritt.
Hi there.
Then you go back to Ben Miller, Paul Mansell, Guy Leach, Maverick Benson, and Richard Mitchum, the top 10. Have a look at this. Some pit stops about to unfold here.
Johannes, Richard, Michael Angus all in.
And Ben Miller all over the back of John Merritt.
Still in a sandwich here, and he's got where is he? He's got Paul Mansell right on his tail as well. So it's either find a way past or pit early or pit late. Which one do you do? Paul Mansell must be a fan of Nige because he's got the red 5 and he's got the helmet.
Yes.
More pit stops. Who else have we got? Paul Wood, Michael Angus.
We're just about to get an update from race control from Michael Porter. And there's a fair bit to roll through here. Lap 1. The Stone Cold Matty Austin entry got a wheel on the grass and lost the rear, making contact with a lot of cars, and it was viewed as a racing incident. The incident with Richard Hunter and Daniel Birchnell. Richard got into the back of Birchnell in turn 1 and copped a drive-through penalty and 0 licence points. Then Jackson Ray Harner on Brendan Whitaker. Big net code causes Jackson to make contact with Brendan, but no fault because net code. And of course, lap 1, also Justin Schwercourt and Jaden Schmidt coming together, with Jaden getting into the back of Justin and causing a spin. Jaden jumped out of the server then, so therefore the decision was a 10-point penalty, but no licence points on Jaden Schmidt. So that's some info from race control thus far. It seems like a busy night for Michael Porter and his team in there.
But we do thank him for the hard work that they do.
Absolutely. Huge thanks to the guys in there. We wouldn't be able to do it without them. Hope you're enjoying the action from Circuit Park Zandvoort. 23 minutes left on the clock.
Well, there's action. There's action of plenty.
John
Merritt is a little bit of the cork in the bottle here, but I don't think Benjamin Miller has just enough pace to get past him. Let's have a look at their lap times. So yeah, Miller's fastest is only 0.3 quicker. So who knows what'll happen if he gets past and then might start setting the world alight. But we're just over halfway. That's why we see a lot of people pitting. They know they've used this much fuel to get this far. They know they need to use this much, the same amount to get to the end. So always a safe bet. The leader of the pit stopping cars is Chris Whitaker. He's currently in 18th. He only did a 3.9-second stop though. So I dare say that was to fix his car. Jackson O'Hara off track, and we got Paul Mansell's now in.
So Mansell in.
Being held up. Oh, got a bit of a fight here.
That we do. Adam Lavis in the
Ford GT.
In the Ford GT in the Castrol car, and he's all over the back of Cal Crowther. And we've got a replay to show you here, Stokehold Racing replay. This is Jamie Welch on the run through the back section.
Gonna say dirt. There it is.
Yep.
There it is.
And then he grabbed the brake and into the wall.
Oh, dude.
Oh, no.
Oh, dude.
That's a shocker, isn't it?
It just astounds me. You want to do it in a real car? Get off the racetrack. Do it on the grass. Do your Austin Powers impersonation on the grass. Don't do it on the racetrack. Here we have Dennis.
Okay. Michael Martin out. Brendan Whitaker out. Stokehold, Matty Austin, Warwick Sharp both out as well. Jaden Schmidt out. They're the retirements thus far. So Andrew Goldman sits there in 13th at the moment. We're hearing that John Merritt is in pit lane. Meanwhile, Yanni Stortoriou is sitting second at the moment. I think a second clear of Luke Turner, so that's worth keeping an eye on. But Dennis Gaderick is about 7 seconds down the road. Your thoughts on what you've seen thus far, Nick? Obviously, it's another Gaderick domination and demolition, but Yanni's proving exactly why he was a great step up from Pro-Am to Pro. He's really taking it to these guys now.
Yeah, 100%. I guess he was always in the wrong, split, but a lot of mistakes creeping in, as you can see by all the bent cars. Kind of why I do like tracks with undulation, ups and downs. It does force you to drive better than flat tracks. In saying that, the field is starting to spread out too, so not as exciting as the intro to Wings, but pit stops are yet to all play out, and who knows if someone does an absolutely catastrophic lose another car into the pits. Who knows? It could be a safety car to bunch it all up and possibly put the pressure back on the guys at the front. So Yanni's in and Benjamin Miller's in too.
Yep, and Luke Turner's continuing on. But he's 9 seconds away from Dennis Gaderick. So Gaderick just walking away with it at the moment. He's yet to stop. Turner yet to stop. Pit lane a hell of a lot busier than what it was 30 seconds ago. Hive of activity. Snottery, Miller, Benson, Hunter all in. Then now Rogers as well. And oh boy, Croth is still to come.
I think Ben Miller's trying the undercut here. So Yanni's out now. He did a 15.8 second stop. He's come out in third. Wow. Paul Mansell's leaping up the timesheets now, so it's starting to really spice it all up.
Certainly is. A little bit wide there, Turner, but okay, he's kept it on the track.
So Turner and Dennis are the only, or Gaderick are the only ones who are not pitted, and they're currently sitting first and second. 9 seconds between them.
So in other words, it's Gaderick's to lose from this point, but it has been since about lap 2. Mansell's catching Yanni Sordaria, we're hearing here. Merritt and Mansell.
See if
and Benson and Merritt as well, worth mentioning. Here comes Dennis Gaderick into pit lane. Does Luke Turner follow? Yes, he does. That's very nicely done. Everyone's in the lane.
Okay, Yanni here is the first car to have pitted. He's at the highest track position. He's currently in third. Dennis is currently in the pit lane with Luke Turner. Just see this. There we go. He's on a 28, 29. Still ticking away. I think he's going to have this by quite a margin still. There you go. 15.6 seconds stationary. And Dennis has rejoined.
Gaderick back onto the right track.
There he goes in the distance. Here comes Turner.
Turner's on its way. Yanni, not able to get it done. So Turner holds second, holds sway over Yanni, sort of rear.
So those two have switched positions. Turner did a 13.5 second stop, whereas Yanni did a 15.8. Chris Whitaker in for his second stop. If I was Luke, you'd just turn off the mirrors and just go.
And Chris Whitaker had drove back into the top 10 by that point, but now will sit outside the top 10. Down at about 12th or 13th position.
Yeah, he had to pit on the first lap to fix the car, so now this is for the fuel. Because there was no tank space to put the fuel in. There he is, 13.2 seconds in pit lane. Let's see where he'll stop, I should say. Where does he rejoin? Yanni's got some hard work now. He's got 15 minutes to get back past that BMW of Luke Turner. Can it be done?
$15 and 3/4 minutes to go here. Gaderick, Turner, Sordaria, Mansell and Benson the top 5. 17 of the book. We're about to start lap 18. So what's that gonna herald? Probably another 8 laps or so after the one Gaderick will start now. So I reckon we're looking at about 27, 28 laps here. No more.
This would be an interesting fight to watch. I'm just having a scan down the page here to see if there's any other close battles. Yeah, here we go. So Jackson, Paul Wood and Richard. All in Ferraris.
Yes, yeah, well, why wouldn't it be after what Gaderick did last season?
Gaderick must be a step ahead of everybody.
Yeah, exactly. He's gone Ferrari, then Audi, and everyone else has gone to Ferrari from wherever they were. Most of these guys were Mercedes, and we all know what happened then.
Jackson
Hunter's in the wall! That's uncharacteristic! That's on Ray Hunter-like! He's caught too much curb, a little bit of grass, and then he's been sent. He became a passenger. Have a look at this. We were just talking him up, and now he's fallen right down the order. Look at this. 3, 2, 1. Gone. Bang. Into the wall, and that'll be a damage that he won't be happy about. Wow.
He's still
All the way
he's
back in the 22nd position.
but he's still 5 spots up from where he started.
Which goes to show that he has improved as the night has gone on, but geez, he won't be happy.
You can talk to him.
Thanks. Just give me the short straw, why don't you? 13 and a half to go. This is an ongoing battle between Jamie Welch and Michael Angus. 13th and 14th on the racetrack. Jamie Welch doing a nice job of going with Angus, but he needs to find a way by. These two are now fighting for, as I say, 13th and 14th.
He's got to run.
Let's wait for it. Down the main straight. Now he goes to the inside, does Jamie Welch. Jamie Welch displaces Michael Angus. Does so comfortably. Then moves across and blocks the line. Defends on his way to 2, 3 and 4. So Gaderick still in complete control, but just easing off the gas pedal a little bit, which is understandable, Nick. There's no point for him to push at 11 tenths now.
Well, for Gaderick to ease off, inverted commas, into the 36s is where the rest of the field's lapping. So, I mean, there's Jackson rejoining the track now, but yeah, Gaderick's backing off pace is the flat-out pace for everybody else.
Indeed, there he is.
And
being lapped, and I didn't think I'd say that about Jackson Raihana, but he's being lapped by Dennis Gaderick.
how good does that Audi sound?
Sounds brilliant, actually. Let's just, for the moment, unless something happens, let's go for a ride with the Audi and just listen to the crisp sound of that beautiful piece of German engineering. Brilliant, sweet, smooth, slick-sounding Audi at work. And Dennis Gaderick now just 10.5 minutes away from his fourth win of this championship and his fifth consecutive podium finish. In fact, if you wind back to the closing stages of the championship in Season 2, Nico Pop, he has been the man to beat for 6 or 7 weeks now. And it's the formidable... Oh, Paul Wood and Richard Mitchum arguing over the same piece of real estate. Mitchum on the inside, fending off Paul Wood for just a little bit longer, but how long can he keep him at bay for? That's a cracking scrap unfolding there, even though it is only for 19th in the order. That's fantastic. Try telling these guys that. Parry Anastakis just ahead of them, and Wood will try and capitalise on a slow run out for Richard Mitchum here. Down the inside. Nope. Jeez, that was tight, wasn't it? That was really uncomfortable. Round onto the main straight. I'll stick with this. I'll get to Nick in a moment. Paul Wood. Can he go with Richard Mitchum? Can he set up a move? Will Richard Mitchum be up for the fight? Will he make it difficult for Paul Wood? We wait and see. Into turn 1. Not too bad through there. Not too bad at all. But again, Richard Mitchum holds Paul Wood at bay. Rightio, Nick, let's go back to you. Dennis Gaderick, he's racking up some really impressive stats right now. I mean, He won the last race of the last series. He was formidable throughout that campaign, particularly the last 5 or 6 weeks. He won all the North American legs. And now he started this year with a first, a second, and soon to be another first as well. It's just consistency is the key to winning championships, but when it's that consistent, it makes it difficult for anyone else to stand the chance.
Well, I mean, we're finding that the guys who are dominant, they generally have the first behind their name, but it's because they're fast and they don't make mistakes. Your Glenn Postlethwaites, your Dennis Gathericks, your Callum Watmores, they're just absolutely flat out dominating. There's a reason why they're at the front, so it's down to us as competitors and drivers to find a better way and to be more consistent. It's going to be hard to knock them off.
Not wrong. If we get any more information from race control, folks, we will let you know. But again, we appreciate Michael Porter dropping by there a short while ago with that message to us so that we can tell you what's going on. Wide goes Richard Mitchum. He saves it, though.
I said it at the start, you got to use the grass creep, but I think some of these guys are taking it a little too far.
I think they're taking it too literally, yeah.
Relying on traction control to help save them, and sometimes it's not getting them out of the poo, so to speak. So, as you can see previously in this telecast or this broadcast, that people are getting on the grass, sometimes the dirt, and unfortunately, traction control is not that good. It can bring you back. So, you got to use the grass creep, but not too much either. Look at this fight.
Just getting you an update from Michael Porter. It's been pretty quiet since lap 1, which is good for him and good for us as well. This is a cracking scrap, actually, between Jamie Welch and Johannes Koch.
Will he find a way
what can Welch do?
Let's have a look. So Welch's fastest laps at 36.2, whereas Johannes is a 37.5. So you would say that he's got about a second and a bit up his sleeve, but once again, this track's very tight, very hard to pass, and the Ferraris are good in a straight line. Just having a look.
Oh, here we go, down the inside, job done. Very nicely done. Jamie Welch on Richard Mitchum. Oh, Johannes Koch, I should say.
Yep.
Yeah. Job done there. We were watching Mitchum a short while ago, of course, with Paul Wood. Richard Hunter is the next target for Jamie Welch. I'm getting my Richards and my Johannes is confused.
Yes.
So, 6 minutes to go here. There's Paul Wood, and that's why the liveries are a little bit different, but they're all a little bit same as well. There's similarities there. So, out they come. This has been a great race. Gaderick, Turner, Sorteria, Mansell, Benson, Merritt, Leach, and then Hunter, Rogers, and Siddle's the top 10. Hunter, Welch, Johannes Koch, Angus, Miller, Whittaker, Siciliano, Anastakis, Mitchum, and Wood make up the top 20. Anastakis 18th, Mitchum and Wood behind him. So it's been a rough night at the office for Richard Mitchum. That's the battle we'll have a look at on your screen there, and he's having a big look there on Parry Anastakis, but he's unable to find a way through. 5 minutes to go.
Oh, Parry, little sideways there. He's going to lose a bit of the drive. Now he's going to be vulnerable down here in the RDS. He's having a look.
Not yet. Parry goes deep.
Oh, Parry's gone deep now. He's missed his first apex. Will it compromise him up the run here?
No, it seems to be a couple of drivers are taking that approach to the 12, 13, 14 sequence of the circuit.
Lots of curb, but then it pushes you onto the dirt on the outside there. Now he's got to run. Watching turn 1 here. Tarzan.
Down the main straight. Mitchum with the run on Anastakis. Can he get by on the inside? No, not yet. Not yet.
Now he's drifted wide. Now he's got to run. Oh, Paul Wood's back in it again.
He certainly is. So Gaderick's going to get back to the line, complete lap 25. He'll have 3 to go from there.
So this is the tightest battle on the circuit. We do have Richard Hunter behind Lee Siddles by 6/10, but This is 3 cars, all evenly matched, all the same car pretty much, and yeah, these guys are fighting over the crumbs now down the back end of the top 20. Mitchum's really looking hard here. Let's see, what is his lap times?
Oh, down the inside. No, not yet.
But
And
it's all
Astakis
very
is
wide.
wide, however. And now Mitchum on the outside, but Parry will have the line on the inside, and here comes Paul Wood looking to get into the mix as well. Down the inside of Mitchum, he can't do that. Wow. 18th, 19th, and 20th is holding our imagination as though it's the battle for the win here right now.
And
Mitchum
yeah,
on the outside.
which is the inside for the second part.
Yeah, got it. Mitchum got it. Set it up beautifully, orchestrated it perfectly. Magnificent piece of driving from Mitchum, and Anastakis looking to fight back on the inside. Can't get it done.
Parry's got to keep his eyes on the rearview mirror now. Paul Wood's got to run.
And now Anastakis needs to get a tie from Mitchum if he's any hope of keeping Paul Wood at bay. Down the main straight, Wood set it up. Down the inside, Wood will have him by turn 1. Wood will go to 19th. Anastakis will go back to 20th. Or will he? No, he's got it done now, Paul Wood. Oh, no, he went... I know what he tried to do there, but it didn't work for him. He went to just force Anastakis a little bit wide, and it compromised his run. He got it crossed up and bogged it down. Now, all of a sudden, Parry's got the position back, and Paul Wood has all the hard work to do once more.
Richard is about a second faster than these guys fastest lap wise, so I dare say he's going to get a bit of a gap now.
And credit where credit's due to Parry Anastakis. He drove hard then, and he made sure that Paul Wood wasn't going to muscle him out, and he was rewarded with 19th. Mitchum, it's hard to imagine him being that far down the order. We're not used to that. Dennis Gunerick is back at the line. Next time by will be his last lap when he gets back to the line. So 26 in the book. This is lap 27. It'll be 28. And now here's Paul Wood on the inside of Parry Anastakis. And Anastakis fighting back here. And he'll have the inside for the next sequence of corners. But then if Paul Wood can do what Richard Hunter did last time around, he'll get the spot. Down the inside, that's how he does it. Nicely played. Paul Wood edges out Parry Anastakis for 19th, and Parry's back to 20th. Gaderick leads Turner, Sorteriu, Mansell, Benson, Merritt the top 6, Leach is 7th, Peter Hunter, Paul Rogers and Lee Siddle's the top 10. And what we should point out, this race will go to 28 laps. These guys have got 2 to go because Dennis Gaderick is going to get back to the line with time on the clock.
Thank you, JP. This is one I was about to point out. There's only 4 tenths between these two.
Richard Hunter charging down Lee Siddles. Fight, yeah, this is a very interesting fight. Tracking him down, chasing him down, chewing away at the margin ever so slightly as they make their way through.
As you can see, the positioning of Richard Hunter, he's got a ton more grip than Siddles here, and he's obviously closed the gap down.
He just needs to get a run.
Lee has made up 10 positions though since his starting spot. Which Hunter is this?
This is Richard. Yep.
Richard needs to set his car up for these last 2 turns because he knows the Ferrari is a faster car in a straight line. Just got to get a good run through these 2.
So D-Nice Gaderick is on the way home. He's on the last lap. We'll get to him in just a moment. Let's keep our eyes. Actually, there we are now. Gaderick on the way home here in the Netherlands. Circuit Park Zandvoort. Time has expired. There is no time left. As they head down towards the chicane and hairpin here one more time. What a brilliant performance. This has been a perfect drive. And after the upset last week, he'll be over the moon to be back on top and keep his title hopes well and truly alive. Through the last 2 quarters comes Dennis Gaderick around over the main straight. 4 from 5 to start the season. The dominance is alive and well. Dennis Gaderick and out on top in the Netherlands. That is sweet.
That was easy for him. Here we go. Close fight on the circuit.
Closing stages of this contest.
Richard
Hunter, Lee Siddles. The difference between being in the 10 and out of the 10. What can Richard Hunter do here on the run down to the chicane? Nothing is the answer.
Get a better run through here.
Oh.
Better up for the last 2 turns.
Going to have to get a run onto the main straight, but can't see that happening. Siddles has pulled away. Last 2 corners. It's going to be a drag race, but it's going to be a drag race that Lee Siddles will win, I think. Round onto the main straight, and he'll get the top 10 finish ahead of Richard Hunter.
2 tenths.
Hunter closed in right to the very get-go and couldn't get there. Great race.
Oh, here's this lap, because he's
Really
got a good turn 1. So there's your top 11 so far. We've got to wait for the rest of them to come across the line.
So lap 29. So we've got to 28 in the end. D-Nice Gaderick. And that was V-Nice. Very nicely done. Gaderick from Turner, Sorterio, Mansell, Benson, Merritt, Leach, Hunter, Rogers, and Siddles, the top 10.
That was an interesting race, to say the least. There's
yeah, exactly.
a lot of upsets of people, names that we're used to seeing at the top of the pile and towards the back of the pile. Some mega crashes, which I knew was going to happen, especially at this circuit. Here we go, the results.
So it was Dennis Gaderick from Luke Turner in the end. Yanni Sorteria was third. There was 2.3 seconds between second and third. And again, Gaderick wins by over 15 seconds. I've lost count of how many times he's done that this season. Paul Mansell, Maverick Benson made up the top 5. Then John Merritt. Then you go back to Guy Leach, Peter Hunter, I should say. Paul Rogers, Lee Siddles. Then Richard Hunter. Jamie Walsher, Hannes Koch, Chris Whitaker, and Ben Miller. Then Siciliano, Michael Angus, Paul Wood, Adam Lavis, and Justin Schwercourt, the top 20. Over the page. 21st to Richard Mitchum. Then 22nd to Pariana Starkus. Not quite sure what happened there in the end. Adam Lavis and Justin Schwercourt making up the top 20, unless they've had a mistake in the last lap or copped a penalty or something. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Andrew Goldman, Cal Crowther, Jackson Ray Hunter, Daniel Birchnell, and then Michael Martin, Brendan Whitaker, Stone Cold, Matty Austin, Warwick Sharp, and Jaden Schmidt. Birchnell 2 laps down. Everybody else that I mentioned there that was at least 10 laps down was a retirement from this race.
There you go. We might find an answer here.
We'll get some drivers into the chat room to have a chat to us in just a moment. Yanni Sorteria is standing by for us. Yanni, let's as we jump into the post-race show here, let's dive in and have a chat to you. Well done, mate. Very nice drive, very nice performance. 3rd place in the end. Just couldn't go with Luke Turner, who was ahead of you. Luke's also standing by for a chat here, but you were well clear of Paul Mansell and the chasing pack, so a nice podium.
Yeah, thanks, Zach. I'm really happy with that. Usually my odd race turns into total chaos, but that one went quite well. Yeah, it was a good race. Luke kept me on my toes before the pit stops, and tried to put some pressure on him towards the end of the race. But I was a little bit tight on fuel, so I didn't want to run out and miss out on a podium. So, but yeah, really happy with that. That was awesome fun. Indeed,
we've got Josh Forer in the com box as well. So I'm just having a look here. I think that'll have something to do with the Pro-Am server, and Paul Nichols will join us in just a moment to have a chat about all things there. So stand by, Josh. We'll come to you soon, mate. Yanni Zandvoort, an interesting challenge, a totally polar opposite circuit to where we were last week in Interlagos.
Yeah, it is totally different. But yeah, I seem to enjoy it, obviously. Yeah, well, it just felt comfortable. The setup was quite nice, so I had a bit of confidence in the car. So, yeah, it was. I mean, for part of the race, it was just trying to keep it out of the walls, especially beginning on cold tyres, coming up through the quick corners up the back. But yeah, it was. It's a nice, fun track when you put it all together.
It certainly is. Hopefully, you will have Mr. Gaderick joining us very shortly as well for a post-race chat here as another race winner for us. Now, just on all of that, we've got Chris Whitaker standing by as well. Just on all of that, Yanni, when we look at the fact that we're at the halfway point of the season, Nick said it during the call, and I think it's a fair point. You probably should have been in the pro split last series rather than waiting until this time.
Yeah, it's probably true. I think I joined the league and just missed out on qualifying on the last season.
Chris knows what that's all about.
But nothing against the Pro-Am guys. Like I had quite a few battles with a few, like Ben Miller and people like that. So, but it's fantastic running up with these guys. You know, it definitely keeps you entertained and challenges you to try and be quicker each week. So, yeah, it's good fun being up in the Pro Split.
It'll be a nice haul of points for you going forward, I am sure.
Definitely.
What are your thoughts? We've got some interesting tracks ahead, mate. Alton Park, Monza, Donington Park, Sonoma, and then, of course, Bathurst. We know what you like at Bathurst. You dominated there as far as the Pro-Am Split was concerned in the last race of the season. What are your thoughts on the other circuits? Because when you look at GT3 racing, you probably don't think of Alton Park so much as you do for maybe British touring cars, but that's going to throw up an interesting fight, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. For me, Alton Park, I think I've got to buy that circuit. I don't think I have that one yet. Donington, have done a few laps around it. This season's been actually quite nice because they're tracks that I normally don't race on or don't join in the races with. So learning a new circuit is challenging and it's quite rewarding, especially if you can, on a Monday night put it on the podium, which is awesome.
Indeed it is, mate. Very nicely done to you and to everybody in your squad. We had our eyes on your good mate Parry Aristarchus there for a while, unfortunately, getting muscled out in the closing stages in his battle with Paul Wood, and also looking further down the order, Richard Mitchum. But you flew the flag for the team, so well done.
Thanks, buddy. It was a great night, and obviously didn't have pace to catch Mr. Gatterick, but yeah. Kudos to Luke. We had a great battle. It was good fun.
Hey, don't worry, nor did anybody else. So it's all good.
I knew that from the beginning. I'm like, if I could just sit behind Dennis, maybe save some fuel, but even that didn't happen. He was just off and away. So didn't even try.
It makes it hard to learn from the best when the best just cruises off into the sunset.
Yeah, it does, but that's all right. That's the challenge, isn't it? So
exactly right. Luke Turner, let's go to you. Magnificent drive, mate. Best performance of the GT3 series thus far. BMW finally showing some pace. Really good effort from you. In the end, though, Dennis was just a little bit too good.
Yeah, I think Dennis has got a GTE car and he just hasn't told anyone. He's that fast. But yeah, no, good on to him. Hats off. Keep plugging away. It's guys like that you learn from, right? He's just a master.
Yep. Absolutely, he is. He's dominating. Your race, mate. Obviously, the pit stop sequence there was interesting in the context of the battle between you and Yanni Sorteria, who we just heard from. You managed to get the upper hand and walked away with it in the end. I think it was only a couple of seconds though, so it wasn't a comfortable second place, but it was enough to get the job done.
Yeah, so we were having a good battle. I mean, at the start, I thought I could overtake, and I thought, no, it's just too risky. So I thought I just stuck in behind, and 101, learning from Benny Snell from the GT4 series, I was just rolling out down the straight and saving a bit of fuel, which gave me that extra lap. And then as soon as I saw Yanni go in, it was like, right, okay, bonsai lap. And I missed one or two apexes and nearly binned it, but it sort of came together just.
Indeed. Hey, just before I come back to you there, Luke, we've got some breaking news out of the world of rugby league. Of course, it's grand final week, and it's proper grand final week this week for you, ladies and gentlemen, with the AFL and then the NRL Saturday and Sunday back-to-back. Park yourself on the couch, folks. It's going to be a big weekend. Brisbane Broncos NRLW captain, Ali Brigginshaw. She's been recognised as the best female player in Australia at the Dally M medal tonight. And the Raiders, have a look at this. We were all thinking that it would be Nathan Cleary or someone from Penrith, but no. Everyone's hot tip for the Dally M medal has been pipped by Raiders star Jack Whitens. So Jack Whiten, the Dally M medal winner for 2020. Luke Turner, let's go back to you. Thoughts on Alton Park, because that's the next stop.
Yeah, I've never driven it. I've got, I just know it's in England somewhere. I have to go to Canberra this week for work, so there'll be little practice happening. But yeah, look, new track. Hopefully it's a good one.
Exactly. We've got our fingers crossed for you, mate. We're sure it'll be fine. Go well. Thanks for stopping by to have a chat to us.
Cheers. Thank you.
All right, let's move along. We've interviewed third in Yanni Sorderia, second in Luke Turner. Let's go to our winner in D. Nice Gaderick. And we'll swap the D for a V because that was a very nice, very slick performance from you tonight, mate. That was terrific stuff. You got to the lead. You didn't have any Ferraris hassling you this week. You bowled it off into the sunset and won by over 15 seconds. You got to be happy with that.
Yeah, mate, I definitely am. I had my own little challenge. I didn't want to drop it to under a 36.3 sort of through the race, so I was kind of racing myself essentially.
Yes.
Just,
On a qualifying number?
Yeah, I was on a qualifying number, so the whole race was kind of it was a whole lot of fun. I kind of didn't want to interrupt the, like obviously this lap one incident, so people have to tow back. I didn't want to ruin. They were having a really good three-way battle, but then they started letting me go. I was like, oh well, that is it. And then I just ended up pitting, so I kind of felt bad about that. But yeah, no, it was a good race, mate. It was qualifying pace is good. I found that 1 second I was talking about with you on Friday night. I managed to find that, and yeah, just sort of ended up being the sort of the big one, really.
Indeed, and I guess given your dominance, you need to find a way to keep it interesting. So when you set yourself a challenge like that, mission accomplished, you've got something to strive for when you've not got to contend with cars around you unless you're coming up on lap traffic.
Exactly. Well, to be fair with you, I do like my sports psychology. I genuinely, I sort of revel in it, to be fair with you. So, yeah, I try and give myself my own little tips and tricks to just sort of keep myself, sort of composed and, sort of just a challenge essentially to keep on going quicker and quicker. And I think that's genuinely where it's helping, especially sort of, with the speed every lap. I was really happy with my consistency. I felt like I was driving really well that race.
I thought you were driving really well, and you've driven really well all season. As I say, 4 from 5, and all but the perfect start, and a lot of work to do for everyone to catch you from here. We'll have a look at the championship points again very shortly once Adam Lavis has finished crunching the numbers. Stay there for me, Dennis. I'm going to come back to you very shortly. Chris Whittaker, let's go to you. It all looks so good after qualifying, and you can't blame it on Trent Lavis this week. What happened?
No, that was a combination of a little bit of lap one aggro, and everyone had the elbows out, me included. But and then I just ran out of talent on cold tyres yet again. But no, look, same sort of thing. We got a decent set for the car. I think the long run was pretty good. It's an absolute dog on cold tyres. So it was just a matter of getting through those first 2 laps. Pray for the best, and then from there the tyre wear's awesome, consistent lap times and everything. But yeah, I threw it all away myself. Just overcorrected it through the tight stuff when it was a bit crossed up, and that was all she wrote. And then Brendan came through and lost it in the exact same corner, doing exactly the same thing. So
and got collected for his trouble as well.
Yeah, he wasn't real impressed with himself. So and then I think he got collected another 2 or 3 times after that. Once Wally had a spin and was sitting on the side of the track or something, you're saying. So but I mean, wasn't so bad. It was still a good little dice, just in open air, and made up as many spots as I could, and to get up to 14th, I think again it was. I'm still happy with that considering how the first lap went. But I'm not sure if it was much of a case of what could have been the boys out in front just way too fast. I didn't stick a lot of practice in because I was too busy winning the trifecta at Bathurst, and
Well, not yes.
No, I actually did get it because there wasn't a market. So the bet that I did put on won at 251 to 1. So I'm happy with that. That's all right. Onwards and upwards. Wherever we're off to next week, I'm not too sure, but we'll get out and have a little squirt and see what happens.
Hang on. So because I'm just going back, you got the 25 and you got the 97, but you had another number in there the other night that you had to obviously take out, didn't you?
Yeah, I said 99 the other night, but it wasn't an option. So I went, what are we going to do instead? So, 97, 625.
Nicely done. So, drinks are on Chris Whittaker whenever the Southeast Queensland members of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club meet up, ladies and gentlemen. Very nicely done.
That'll depend on the borders, won't it?
No, I said the Southeast Queensland members, Paul.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're not bringing the cockroaches up.
Not at the moment. Blame the puppet pretend premier that we've got here at the moment. 2 weeks until we can flush that mob, ladies and gentlemen. And I know Paul Murray's worried about giving out the Domestos to get rid of the stain. I'll give you the Drano so you can clear the pipes because they're likely to clog them up on their way down. So, on that note, Chris, interesting circuit, this Circuit Park Zandvoort. Undulating, tricky, tight, narrow, couple of good overtaking opportunities, and a couple of good areas where you can open up the throttle. In all, it gave us a good race. Yours, unfortunately, ruined on the opening lap because there was no way you were going to be able to make it work on a one-stopper when you had to stop on lap 1.
No, exactly right. If it was all fixed sets and you had a starting tank lower and full tank capacity available and things like that, then yeah, you can get away with those funny things. But unfortunately, when we've got limited tank capacity and the likes, there was no way in hell I could make it. I still had to take pretty well every much as bit of fuel on as what everyone else did. So I obviously had to push that hard. There was no fuel saving whatsoever in the first stint. Towards the end of the second one, I had to roll out a little bit here and there, just saved a couple hundred mils. But and then unfortunately, Ben and sorry, I can't remember who the other one come together on turn 3, which I mean, I was happy with that. But
yes,
yeah, those two poor buggers lost a couple of spots themselves. So, but yeah, look, the track itself, love the track. I don't really like racing around here. It's more of a hot lapping track for me. I think it's just a little bit too tight for these things. But I reckon open wheelers around here on the full circuit would be a bit of fun. But yeah, maybe I need to get into a bit of the pre-race action instead of just GT3.
I was going to say, well, we had the intro to wings on the short circuit actually, and they proved to be rather entertaining. But I reckon the long circuit would have been good for them too. So you're right. Hopefully that's something we can work on in due course. All right, stay there with me, fellas. I'll get to Jamie Welch in just a moment. Josh Forrest jumped out of the chat room, which is a shame because I was waiting for Paul Nichols to be in the room and get through those top 3 interviews to have a chat about Pro-Am. Nico, you've kept your podium run alive, but you just couldn't beat Josh Forer or, of course, Brock Kelly tonight. Kelly getting the win from Forer, yourself, then Adam Coughlin and Matthew O'Grady, the top 5 in there. Again, a case of first walking away with it. The 911 of Kelly, 11.5 seconds clear of Forer. And you were a further 2 seconds back there, and a big margin between yourself and Adam Coughlin. In total, 28 laps completed, again caution-free, and no lead changes along the way there, which goes to show just how dominant Brock Kelly was.
Yeah, fantastic. He had probably a 2-second lead after the first lap, and it was just myself and Josh trying to. I was trying to keep in front of Adam, obviously, but had a fantastic race. I actually had 0 incidents, which was my goal for the race. So I think I might have, depending on the points, I think I get 5 bonus points. So I actually might have won the round. But so Brock had 4 and Josh had 1, which and the top who else? So Matthew O'Grady and Andrew Hayes both had 0 as well. So yeah, really good race. Really enjoyed it. That track's fantastic. Really enjoyed that track. I had a lot of wing on, so I wasn't quick in a straight line, and Josh was very quick in the AMG in a straight line. So we had Ferrari, AMG, Ferrari, BMW, Ferrari in the top 5.
It's interesting how opinions vary. I mean, everyone's saying they love the track. Chris saying that it's maybe not the best circuit for racing, more a hot lap sort of thing. Where do you sit on that, Nico?
Very hard to overtake. I mean, probably the only overtaking point is turn 1, really. And it's just about getting your consistency and your flow right. I mean, I really actually enjoy that track. I mean, as I said, very hard to overtake. And if you do get a bit of a draft, unfortunately, Josh in the AMG was just so quick in a straight line. I just could not get the draft and get close enough to have a go into turn 1. But yeah, I love it. Great track. So this is the track for next year. It's going to be the GP, yeah? F1?
Correct.
Yeah,
correct.
right.
Formula 1, Dutch Grand Prix. Yep.
Yeah, revised version of this track. So obviously the old one, yeah.
Just a shorter by about maybe 30 metres or something like that, and that banking in the last couple of corners. Jamie Welch, let's go to you because I haven't said good evening to you as yet. 12th in all of that, mate. Geez, every time we saw you, you're in a fight with someone. I mean, pick a name: Richard Hunter, Johannes Koch, Lee Siddles, and Paul Rogers at one point as well. It looked like you had your work cut out for you tonight.
Yeah, I put myself way in the deep end this week.
Yeah, we're seeing that you're lit up there, Jamie, but we can't hear you, mate.
Oh, sorry, mate. Can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you.
Sorry, you there?
I lost everyone.
I've got you, mate. Yeah, keep going.
Sorry. I was in the deep end and threw myself in there, and I thought I was doing really, really well for the first few laps until I was stupid enough to run out wide, and that was my race, and it was a matter of recovery. So I thought I did pretty well in the end, but it was just one of those days.
Apologies, mate. I missed the first half of that. I just had a wobbly at my end on Discord, but I'll take what you said and run with it. And it was it's a tricky track, isn't it? I mean, there were so many areas where errors were possible, and it was a case of just taking maybe 5 centimeters too much curb, or running a little bit wide and taking a little bit of grass or dirt with you, and it was easy to find a way to come unstuck.
Oh, 100%. That's all it took. It was one little error, and then that was it. I was down the field. But look, great track. It was an awesome track to get into a rhythm with and just keep rolling it through. And I loved it. It was fantastic. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. Thoughts on next week, because it's Alton Park, which is another not dissimilar circuit. I mean, it doesn't have maybe as much undulation, but it's still tight and difficult to overtake on.
Yeah, that's another one of my kind of tracks. I'm quite happy with Alton Park. I did a lot in F3 and stuff like that. Hopefully I get a better result in here than I do with that. But it should be a great track, and it leaves itself open for good overtaking opportunities down the back straights as well, which I quite like.
Indeed it does, mate. Very nicely done tonight. Halfway point of the championship. We'll get to the points in just a moment, see how you're stacking up. Chris Whitaker, I forgot to ask you about your thoughts on Alton Park, and also Dennis Gaderick as well, bring you guys back in. Chris, Alton Park, second stop in Britain for this series. We've got another one still to come. Brands Hatch, Donington, we know well. Alton Park, always a great circuit for British touring car racing. How does it stack up for GT3s, do you think?
I don't mind the track. I haven't done a lot of racing around there, but that goes back to the old Tonka touring car days, way back when.
Mm-hmm.
But so I sort of know the track, I guess, which way it goes. But I think I can count on one hand how many iRacing races I've done around there. But the other one, Donington, that's one I'm definitely looking forward to. I've always had a soft spot for Donington. So, but Alton Park, yeah, we might have to stick 500 or so practice laps in so I can remember exactly where it goes.
For sure, and looking forward to that as well. Dennis, your thoughts on the remaining rounds? Because this is, last time round we had 4 North American rounds. You cleaned up the lot of them. This year, this season, I should say, Europe is the heartland, with the next 3 rounds here as well as tonight, and we've had a couple already at the top of the season. So what are your thoughts going into Alton Park? Then, of course, Monza. And also, we finish off with Donington. No German tracks, so no home ground advantage for the Audi, but not that matters for you at this point in time.
Well, that's the thing. I genuinely love Alton Park, mate. It's actually one of my all-time favourites in iRacing, so I'm really keen to get some practice in there. I think it's an amazing track. It's genuinely a banger, and I think it will throw up some great racing. Sort of like the chicanes and also the hairpin at the back. If I can give anybody some advice, wherever you think you're braking, you can brake later, because there's a very, very steep bank at the back there. That's always shows the cojones of each driver, which I think is going to be interesting. But yeah, at the same time, sort of the other tracks, I'm sort of contemplating. I really want to do Alton Park. That's one of my favourites, but I might sit out sort of Monza and sort of Sonoma. I'm not a big fan of both races and the 2 drop rounds, and I might just come back for Bathurst, essentially.
I was going to say, you might not need the drop rounds, the advantage you're racking up at the moment. And given that you like Alton Park and you're looking forward to getting stuck into practice, that's a really bad sign for everyone going into next Monday night, I have to say. Adam Lavis will give me a heads up as soon as points are ready to rock and roll. Paul Nichols, it's an interesting week. We've got Road Atlanta Road America, I should say, on Wednesday night for Hump Day Pilot and also Porsche GT3. Then we get stuck into the double with Daytona and Bathurst on Friday night across the 3 classes. And TCR we're particularly looking forward to from the Daytona Roval. Then, of course, next Monday night, it's Alton Park. So, again, continent hopping, but that's a good thing. And variety's the spice of life. And I think we've hit the nail on the head with a very nice balance of open flying tracks and tight, tricky ones in this GT3 series.
Yeah, absolutely. We're following the official VRS series, which is the iRacing series. So the good thing about that is the guys can jump in during the week, do some practice, do some official practice as well. So Alton Park, I'm really looking forward to that. Great circuit. Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Hopefully get in the top three again. That's the idea. And do some practice maybe on Saturday or Sunday. Have some time off and do some practice. So looking forward to it.
Indeed. Time off. I must admit, I've enjoyed my last couple of days off after the rugby league grand final here on the weekend. It's been nice and refreshing. It'd just be good if I could get some sleep. I apologise. Apparently, a few of you heard my yawn there earlier. It wasn't the racing, I promise you. It's just the body clock wanting to shut down. And we've got plenty more great iRacing for you throughout the course of the next 6 weeks here across SimShed Broadcasting and also the Gentleman Sim Racing Club Incorporated. And we've just run you through what you've got across the next week. So we'll make another note of that before the end of the broadcast. Dennis Gaderick, I mean, assuming that the lead will be over 50 points now, you could probably afford to... just on that note, we're going to lose Chris Whitaker at this point in time. Mate, thank you. Good to see you. He's already gone, and he's got an early start device. So we'll just throw the conversation around here with Dennis for the next short while, because we've only got him left as far as the drivers are concerned from the pro split. We'll get to Nico Pop for some final thoughts soon as well. Yeah, assuming that the lead's 50 points, I mean, you're obviously already embracing the drop round concept from a standpoint of being able to pick and choose in this back half of the championship, a couple of tracks that you're not keen on. So rather than waste your time and get frustrated, you can just sit out and watch the show, maybe join us in guest commentary.
Exactly. Oh, to be honest with you, that was the plan. I was hoping to come and keep you company because I know how much you love that. So that would be quite nice, I reckon. But yeah, and at the same time, I mean, depending on how the championship looks, obviously, Bathurst is double points, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun to put some practice in there, and then leave everything on the table right at the end. I think so. I mean, it's exciting for obviously. I personally think it would be exciting for the championship, and obviously, it'll give a bit of confidence, maybe sort of to the other drivers in the sense of sort of being able to combat stuff, which, I genuinely think sort of just slowly taking a break, the other drivers would step up because obviously, there's a chance to win, and I think there's a bit of a roll-on effect there in terms of car speed. So, I genuinely think if I do the 2 drop rounds and then come into Bathurst, it'll be a pretty, red-hot competition.
What he's just done there, Nick, is shoot my theory out of the water, because I was saying there at the start of the night that if he keeps going with the rate of success that he's enjoyed in the first 5 rounds, well, it was 4 at the top of the night, it's now 5, he might go into Bathurst with an unassailable lead irrespective of the double point situation and can just cruise to the checkered flag. But no, he's wanting to make sure that Bathurst is still a live battle, which makes it good for us.
Well, exactly. It's, I mean, don't get me wrong, Bathurst is sacred ground. You can't really sort of mess around with it too much, I think. So, I mean, look, at the end of the day, it's got to be a championship round. I think it would be sort of, there's got to be that element to it, I feel. Don't get me wrong, the Bathurst this weekend was absolutely fantastic with, no sort of championship implications. But, at the same time, it's always nice to end it on a certain note. So, I mean, I'm keen for it. We'll see how it goes. I mean, we still don't know how how Monza and Sonoma will go, but we'll go from there.
All right, so the official reason that we'll use for Dennis sitting out rounds 8 and 9 potentially will be CBF. And I'm glad Dennis clicked onto that straight away. Because you can't say it's illness because he's already just admitted that, and you can't say it's other commitments because he's going to be with us at the commentary box. So it's just going to be CBF. And for the kiddies tuning in at home, don't ask your parents what that means until you're about 15, 16. Nick, your thoughts on what Dennis was just talking about? Because originally I was going to you with that and Dennis jumped in. So your thoughts on all of that? Because it means, as we say, Bathurst will be a live battle now.
Yeah, Dennis. Tough life. Such a tough life when you're at the top.
Yeah.
Just remind Dennis, the only way from the top is down.
Well, I mean, I'm doing my best, all right? That's all that I can say. I'm doing my absolute best. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Liam beat me fair and square in the last race. I mean, I genuinely feel like it. But if, for example, if you took me out of the race today that race for the lead would have been ridiculously on. I think it would have been great for the broadcast. Sort of obviously Yanni was sort of really catching Luca towards the end there. I mean, I was following everything on my on my relative box there, and I was calculating the times. I mean, don't get me wrong, the race would have been on. So we'll see how we go at Alton Park. I'm still going to drive as hard as I can, and I'm sure that there'll be sort of drivers that, to be fair, and this is actually really interesting, it's like I feel like after every round the drivers are getting quicker, because I think at the start of this year it was something, I mean, don't get me wrong, there was Brenton and there was Glenn and stuff like that, but I feel like the field's definitely getting closer and closer each race. Yes, I set a blinder qualifying lap. I'm never doing that lap again, full stop. That was really lucky on my part, but to be only 4/10 up, I felt like that would have been way further ahead, especially on a track with an Audi that's got a bit of a mechanical advantage at Zandvoort compared to the other vehicles. So Alton Park will actually be pretty interesting. I'm keen to see how that goes. But yeah, I think the racing for Monza and sort of and Sonoma, that'll be really good. I'll be keen to co-host. Let's put it that way.
Dennis, I think you should start from the pits next race.
Co-host, that's my job, Dennis. Thank you very much.
Yeah, exactly. Here he is, just helping himself to everyone else.
Nick. You've lost your job, mate.
I win the championship. I can do whatever I want.
Shortly we'll be taking my job, and I'll be back on the sideline, and I'm already on the sideline up here at the moment, so that won't sit well. And by the sideline, I meant real world. Hello to you, QR. Nice to have your company if you're tuning in. Let's see how the AMRS goes this weekend. Now, on that note, I'm going to get in trouble one of these days. They're going to take offence to something that I say, but I'm not saying anything that's technically
The good
wrong.
thing about you, Zach, you're never on the fence.
No. It's one way or the other. There's no fence sitting in, and that's what actually Bradley at Westbrook Radio said to me the other day. He said that's the best thing about you. You tell it how it is, and it's just like we don't even have to wind you up and let you go. You wind yourself up. So it's like, because I did rip into Karting Australia the other day on air, and that was what they're up to at the moment is just purely disgraceful. The sport of karting's a shambles in this country, particularly in New South Wales. Get it together. Anyway, so yeah, Dennis Gaderick will be guest commenting at some point during this season and probably hosting the broadcast one night as well.
Next season, yeah.
That's what's happening here at the moment. Although that being said, as I said the other night, and I'll say it on air as well, we love the fact that people like Dennis, Trent, and Chris give up their time, come into the commentary box when they're not racing and have a yak with us, because at the end of the day, it's far better to get the expert insight of drivers rather than just me sitting here and pointing at timing screens and pointing at drivers and overtaking battles. It's far better to get the insight, and that's why Paul and Nick work so well here. And when they're not available, we have that backup as well. Absolutely. Because I can only add so much to the picture, and these guys can explain exactly what's going on because they've got that experience of having been there and done it, both in Chris and Trent's case, in the real world as well as the sim world as well. So we love that. All right, championship points, Dennis. You're going to love this, mate, because Adam Lavis has already finished the Pro and the Pro-Am. He's working on the M. We've got the M race results coming out for you in a moment, and see how long we stick around for. We might even get the intro to Wings too. Dennis Gaderick, 170 points after 5 rounds, if you can believe that. He's just piling it on tonight. What was that? Oh, yes, pole position and 0 incidents as well. And I think the fastest lap too. Paul Mansell, 110, so the margin is 60.
Oh, wow, okay.
So he's just added 14 points to where it was coming into the night. John Merritt on 103, everyone else sub 100. Luke Turner, 91. Jumped up beautifully after that drive tonight. His best result of the series to 6th and a 13th. Before that in a DNS as well. Guy Leach is 5th on 87. Yanni Sorteria is up to 6th alongside Maverick Benson. They're both on 76 points. 70 for Amrit Candola, who was not on the grid tonight or last week. I think if memory serves, Candola's WA based, so the new times are probably putting pay to his chances. And it has been the last couple of weeks that we have been in daylight saving time on the East Coast, in most parts of the East Coast. Glenn Postlethwaite on 66 points. Again, he wasn't on the grid tonight. And Paul Rogers on 61 make up the top 10. But what we've got at the moment is a case of some guys that are burning their potential 2 drop rounds, or guys that are just chucked in the towel, or guys that can't get to the split for whatever the case may be and have compromised their championship as a result through no fault of their own. So it's interesting to see how all that's playing out. The Pro-Am Championship after that round, Matthew O'Grady on 95 points, 88 for David Riddell, Kiel Crowther on 85, so too James Wilkins, Andrew Hayes on 81, Doy San on 79, Curtis Williams on 72, so too Brock Kelly and Thomas Martin, with Scott Harris on 66 making up the top 10. That reminds me, there's I do need to give James Wilkins a little bit of a mention because we ran out of time to do it on Friday night, but he was racing in the Toyota 86 Racing Series somewhere down in New South Wales over the course of the weekend and fared not too badly, so I'll update you on that in just a moment. But before all of that, Paul Nichols, that Pro-Am split's looking good. Will it be a similar case in a few weeks' time that we'll combine the two for the Bathurst finale or not?
That's the plan, yeah, absolutely. So, the last race, if we can combine the two as we did last season, that will be the plan. We may have to split the top of Pro-Am just to get into the broadcast race, but we'll work that out closer to the time. All right.
Dennis, 60 points. Are you happy with that after 5 weeks of top-notch work?
Mate, that's 2 races ahead. I'm absolutely over the moon. Mate, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm definitely happy with that. We'll see how it is after Alton Park.
Yes, indeed.
The only way I can put it.
Exactly right. Unfortunately, it didn't go all to plan for our mate James Wilkins down there on the mountain.
No.
It wasn't a great weekend until race 4. He fought back in race 4. So he had 14th in race 1, a DNF in race 2. In race 3, he fought back only to finish 23rd, but in race 4, he charged through to finish 10th. So I think he'll be happy with how it finished, but not how it was in the middle. It's top and the tail, not too bad in the middle. Yeah, so. So well done to James Wilkins, representing the club down there at Mount Panorama.
I feel like we should get him a gentleman's sim racing stick up for his 8.6 for next season.
Absolutely, 100%. Where are the sticker kits coming, Paul?
Well, you have to talk to admin, mate.
No. Actually, I believe you've stepped into the treasurer role, have you not? So
yeah, I'm not marketing. Come on, I'm not marketing. I just pay the bills.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway,
wasn't there prize money for this season?
No.
Oh damn! Okay, I just.
Yeah, no. Don't worry, Dennis. If there was, I'd be asking for a slice of it anyway. So. That's all good and well. Hey, don't worry, folks. We've been here with thanks to Central Coast Subaru, LJ Hooker Gaindar, Racecraft, Flash Graphics, Ocular, and Simple Sim Computers. We're almost at the end of our broadcast window, so let's just quickly have a look at the event result for the AM split tonight. And thanks to Paul Nichols for sending this through. They got to 28 laps as well, no cautions. They had, in the end, only 15 starters, so it wasn't a great night. Actually, Paul Nichols, don't go just yet. Give me your driver of the night before you go.
Well, it has to be Dennis, doesn't it? 0 incidents, fastest lap, P1.
That's fair. Yeah. No, well done, mate. Thank you. See you Wednesday.
Right, see you, gents.
Just got a message there in the corner if anyone's wondering why I just sidetracked on the discussion, saying that Nico was going to go, and I thought, no, I can't let him go without getting those final thoughts. So good on you, Nico. We'll see you Wednesday night. In the AM split, Jay Ward defeated Lee Williamson, Joe Baldwin, Declan Reinhardt, and Brad Doby. Doug White, Scott Rankin, Chris Kisby, Corey Horder, and Jason Lee, the top 10. Now, if I open our GT3 standings here, not ready. Oh, actually, no, I think they might be ready to go at this point in time. Adam Lavis, are they good to go?
I believe so.
Okay. And you're working on Intro to Wings as we speak, are you?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, I'll hang around here for a couple of more minutes, ladies and gentlemen, so that we can bring you those Intro to Wings championship standings, because tonight marks the halfway point of the championship. And Intro to Wings is a little bit slightly more an even contest than the GT3 series is turning out to be. In the AM split, it's Lee Williamson on 116, leading Brad Doby on 87, and Doug White on 71. Adam Coughlin, who's moved up, he's on 68. 61 for Jay War. Sean Rees on 58, so too Scott Rankin. down the order we go. Declan Reinhardt, 57, so too Chris Kisby, and Johannes Koch, who, of course, has moved up on 56 points there. So that's how the cookie crumbles in the GT3 series. Their next stop is, of course, Alton Park next week. Nick, your thoughts on Alton Park?
Fantastic.
Short, sharp, and sweet. Okay.
Great circuit.
Absolutely, it is. I mean, it's an interesting dynamic, though, isn't it? Because we've gone from Interlagos to Zandvoort to Alton Park. You couldn't ask for three completely different circuits to be thrown up in that order, could you?
Well, that's it. Yeah. All great venues, all completely different. I tend to think this particular place was a very good test, more so than Interlagos or the previous tracks. But again, we're taking it to another tight little circuit in the back of England somewhere next to a lake. So we'll see how it rolls.
Yeah, exactly. And let's hope rolls is just merely a figure of speech, because otherwise it could be carnage. All right, we'll get to the intro to wings points for you in just a moment. Driver of the night, Nick. Do you agree with Paul Nichols? I mean, we asked you for the driver of the night in the intro to wings, and you've delivered that. So, do we go past Dennis, or do we exclude him from driver of the night just because he's too dominant and we need to give it to somebody else just to spice it up?
I was going to exclude him because he's trying to take my job.
That's fair. I'll pay that.
I haven't got the results in front of me. Hold on, let me just see if I can grab them here. No, I don't. Yeah, it really is hard to look past Dennis. A lot of people having trouble at this circuit. A lot of people not getting along with it, and Dennis put it on cruise control. So, as much as I don't want to admit it, and he's going to get a bigger head, Dennis for driver of the night in this particular one.
So he's just cleaning up everywhere at the moment. Is D-Nice Gaderick. Intro to wings points coming your way very shortly, folks. Dennis, what's the secret to mastering the Audi? Because again, it was a case of you hit the sweet spot with the Ferrari. Everyone's gone to Ferrari. Now that you've hit the sweet spot with the Audi, everyone's probably going to look to the Audi for the first series next year. You're the trendsetter. You seem to be just ahead of the game here. What's the trick?
Well, I suppose the trick is just sort of finding the right car for you at the start of the season. But no, the Audi's a really interesting car to drive. It's an absolute pig on the first lap. If anybody's going to have a go at me, it's definitely going to be lap one.
Well, we saw that last week, actually.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, 110%. Yeah, it's not that it's bad to drive on lap one. It's very risky. The rear end really wants to slide out on you everywhere, but it does take that lap to come in. And after it comes in, it's actually really good and it's really stable, and you can really sort of lean on it. But I suppose where I feel like a lot of people go wrong with the Audi, for example, is they think because it's nimble, it's rear engine. Oh, sorry, not nimble. They think that it's because it's light wheel drive. It's light, sorry. And, obviously mid-engine, that's going to be nimble. It's not as nimble as people think. It is relatively rear heavy, so it will understeer. And it will also bite you if you don't brake it correctly. So I genuinely think it's a matter of learning how not to brake as much as the other cars. So for example, if I'm entering a corner, I'm only at about 10% brake, maybe 15, if I'm being a little bit sort of crazy, and that's to trail brake it. You have to really drive it like a point and gun kind of car. That's genuinely where the speed comes from. It's got a lot of grip in the rear wheels, that car. So for example, if you can get a good run out of a turn, you're actually going to be pretty quick out of it. The only thing is it genuinely lacks in straight line speed. So tracks like Monza, I actually feel like it would be genuinely good at Sonoma. I just don't like that track very much. But like tracks like Monza, for example, the Audi will struggle. And it's, even though it's actually really interesting. It's for example, at tracks like what was the track that we raced at last season? Sorry, Barber. Yeah. The Ferrari for me had the best braking, right? So it's when I was doing the practice there, at Barber I had the best braking, but then at Bathurst the Audi for me had the best braking. So I haven't quite figured out there what makes, for example, a GT3 car brake better than, for example, its competitor. But some tracks I find that the Audi's really great on a brake. Some other ones not so much. Like at Brands Hatch, I thought, I think I was braking like I was sort of fourth out of all the 6 cars there in terms of the braking performance. So yeah, it's all messing around with brake, obviously your brake biases and whatnot like that. But yeah, the Audis are very much a point and gun car. So you get the car obviously slowed up as much as you can mid corner, just slam the throttle, traction control will do the rest, and you're sort of out. And yeah, you sort of have to learn to slide it, which is a really dangerous sort of thing, especially in the Audi. So yeah, it's a little bit of a learning curve. I'm definitely getting the hang of it now after round 1, like round 2 and so on. I'm still continuously learning it. I don't think I'm perfect by any way. I'm still not number 1 overall in the world. So yeah, there's still a little bit of learning to do.
Indeed, there is, and I guess the other thing too, when we talk to the drivers, and Adam's just confirmed that the points are ready to go, so I'll get to them in just a moment so that we can sign off here. But it's an interesting conversation that we're having here with Dennis Gederick, and I hope you're enjoying it, folks. Those of you that are sticking around to the end of the broadcast. When we talk to all these drivers on a Monday night, Dennis, we've figured out very quickly that each of these cars have their little idiosyncrasies, nuances, and differences, and therefore that's what makes GT3 racing the beast that it is. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Of the 6 cars that we've got at our disposal here, obviously you've got the Audi, the Ferrari, the Bimmer, the Ford, the Porsche, the McLaren, and the Mercedes. Are there any there in that group that you loathe, that you dislike to the point where you wouldn't sign up for them, or is it just at the moment that they're not the car for you?
It's actually really interesting you say that. When I was doing the solo before the season, I've done it every season now, but I've driven all the cars, and I make myself a little spreadsheet. I even shared it to the Gentleman's Series sort of before I did, which actually ended up the Ferrari being first. But I did put in there, I said I'm 3/10 slower in the Audi, but I genuinely feel like the Audi's quicker. But then obviously everybody sort of, not everybody, but a lot of the people went the Ferrari way, which I actually found was really surprising. Just after driving them all, I took 3 tracks that were completely different from one another. I took Bathurst, I took Barber, and I took Laguna Seca, which actually was, maybe in hindsight, I probably should have taken a track that had a bit of a longer straight, but still regardless. The Audi was quicker than all the other cars. Oh, actually, apart from Bathurst, where the Ferrari had it. It was quicker than the other cars, and that genuinely says a lot, because I've been driving the Ferrari a lot. I haven't been driving the Audi a lot. I genuinely think it just suits my driving style. A car that surprised me, though, is the McLaren. If I was to go next season, I feel if there's an update and they made the McLaren a little bit more competitive, I'd probably choose a McLaren, if I'm being absolutely honest. It's a bit of a fun car to drive. It's really, really interesting. It understeers some laps, it oversteers others. It's kind of not consistent, but it's a bit of a challenge. But it's genuinely quick. I think if I had to choose one car that I hate more than the rest, it's got to be the BMW. It's too easy. It's too easy.
Interesting reason to hate a car, Nick, but great insight all the same from Dennis. That's why we love these post-race discussions.
Oh, look, all info, Dennis doesn't sit on his hands and just let it all come to him. He's actively trying to find the best way around. That's why he's at the top. But as I was going to say before, the top is small for a reason. So there's only one way from there, Dennis. You've got to be careful. And the air is thin up there too.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's look, I'm not studying psychology for no reason, mate. I genuinely like my sports psychology, and I'm taking it as a little bit of a challenge to. So, for example, I see a 15.6 second gap at the end of this race. I'm going to be aiming for a 17-second gap at the end of the next race, and it's like, how do I get it to that 17 seconds? So, we'll see how we go.
Indeed, we will, mate. Thanks for stopping by and having a chat to us tonight. Let's have a look at these intro to wing points before we go. Of course, Mikey Hammond getting the job done in a cracker tonight and pushed every step of the way. He leads the championship 148. Warwick Sharp 89 and Jackson Rayhana up to 85 points now, of course, but he burnt his drop rounds at the start of the championship, so he'll factor well back into contention once this balances out. 74 for Josh Thomas. Justin Schwer caught on 72. 71 for Julian Muckey. 70 points for Brad Clank. 69 for Adam Coughlin. So too Pete Matson. And, Sean Rees makes up the top 10 on 68 points. So very tight there between 5th and 10th. Only 5 points or 4 points the margin. In fact, so really good stuff. Nick, final thoughts?
Bring on the next one.
Looking forward to it immensely. Let's look ahead for the Gentleman Sim Racing Club and SimShed Broadcasting and everyone else that covers our great events across YouTube, Twitch and Facebook Live as well. Wednesday night, we're back with you. Adam Lavis will be in the director's chair. Our coverage will be on the Gentleman Sim Racing Club Incorporated broadcast page. It'll be Road America, round 5, the midway point of what is a cracking Hump Day Pilot Series, and also a Porsche Elite GT3 Cup that has to be seen to be believed. And we'll bring that to you from 7:25 Eastern Daylight Time. Again, that's 4:25 for those of you in the West. You're still probably at work watching it as you walk out the door on your phone. Just don't do it while you're driving. And to Queensland, well, you know the drill. I'm not going to say it for you. If you want to live in 908, that's your call. Friday night, 7:30 Eastern Daylight Time, we head to the Daytona Roval, the road course there, of course, the International Speedway in Florida, and that'll be for production cars, TCR this week, followed by stock cars from the mountain and supercars back in Daytona. So we're taking stock cars from their usual home and placing them at the usual home of supercars and vice versa. So that's all set to come on Friday night. Next Monday night, we've been previewing it for the last 20 minutes or so. Alton Park, the venue, start of the second half of the championship. Can anyone stop Dennis Gaderick at this point in time? My guess is probably not, despite the fact that he said, look, I'm just going to sit out these 2 rounds. I'm that content with the drop round system that I don't think I'll have to worry too much about a potential drama in the other rounds that I want to come and clean up in. So he's just going to drop 2 completely. That is, of course, round 6. Alton Park, the circuit. Dennis Gaderick will be out to continue his winning run. And that will be 7:30 Eastern Daylight Time on Monday night. That's, of course, the 26th of October, 2020. Intro to Wings leads that broadcast with the race from 7:40 and then the GTs from 8:25. Great to have you company tonight. Really hope you enjoyed it on the back of a pretty big week of motorsport. There's no doubt about that. Congratulations to Jonathan Ray, of course, a 6th consecutive World Superbike Championship for him across the course of the weekend. And MotoGP, tantalising affair there with 15 points covering the top 4 with just 4 races to go. Looking forward to what's ahead here as far as sim racing in the virtual world is concerned. We're back for more of it and more of the same on Wednesday night, and look forward to you coming in. In the meantime, on behalf of the crew and the team and the great people at the top of your screen that we couldn't do it without, of course, Stone Cold Racing, Central Coast Subaru, LJ Hooker Gaindar, Racecraft, Flash Graphics, Oculair, and Simple Sim Computers. I'm Zach Caban for all the SimShed Broadcasting team. Have a great night, everybody. Look forward to your company Wednesday night. Until then, bye for now.